All right, hello and welcome everyone to the AD2L Intermediate Grand Finals for Season 33. We're here watching Team Mochi and Peenix Pals face off in this best of five, and we've got two wonderful panelists here to break down the draft for you. Rusty Shackelford and Insane Chaos. What's up, guys?
Hey there,
Good
this is Insane
evening.
Chaos, and this is the guy who told me to kill myself last night. How are you doing today, Rusty Shackelford?
I just want to clarify, I was saying our Ags Lab run was doomed and you should let your hero die.
Okay,
But
okay,
anyways, I'm
cool.
doing great. I'm very excited for the Intermediate League Grand Finals tonight. Two great teams on display.
Same. I'm seeing a lot of toxic heroes getting banned out in the first phase of bans. What do you think? Are you surprised there's no Spirit Breaker or Weaver in there?
I'm not surprised about Spirit Breaker, because I think Mochi showed that they had a really good game plan against that hero. But
Mhm.
uh, Peenix Pals, I keep having to remind myself that's not what their banner has, but I figured since they had first pick, they might let the Weaver slide through and grab it. This is what they tried last time they played Mochi. Unfortunately, Mochi still took the game, but I really just don't think you can give Mochi Weaver whatsoever. Like, they're
That's fair.
way too good and versatile on multiple positions with that hero.
Disruptor first phase, is that an answer to Weaver, just a strong hero in general that they like? I do know that they like the Jakiro, and they picked that without any hesitation.
Yeah, I think Jakiro is Mochi's most played hero. This is a pretty nice combo of supports, and definitely one that works quite well against Weaver, especially Disruptor. And our Phoenix Pals respond with the Kunkka. One of the better heroes of their mid, Sorelella, who I believe will be the one playing it. And overall, a nice sort of counterplay to the big teamfight spells of Mochi with that rum buff coming in, and just being able to match it with a lot of teamfight of your own.
I suppose, but I still don't think that hero really holds up too well against Disruptor Jakiro, because they just dish it out all at range, right?
This is true. These supports can dish a significant amount of damage to Kunkka from pretty far away. Kunkka is a relatively tanky hero though, and he doesn't mind buying BKB, which really neuters the effectiveness of Mochi. And these Phoenix Pals, they like to buy their BKBs real early. As I think Hungry Phoenix pointed out in the Discord earlier this week. So I'm looking for Kunkka to grab maybe one small item like maybe Armlet or Shadow Blade, and then right into the BKB. The way it's looking
Yeah,
right
that was
now.
my thought. And yeah,
I'm
Mochi, they ban out the one carry that can kind of deal with all of that. Yeah, it looks like they're set up to
yeah.
just deal with the spell immunity from heroes.
The Juggernaut is kind of a specialty of the carry player of Phoenix Pals. I think
E-Rock.
E-Rock. He plays a lot of Juggernaut. He goes a interesting build. He normally goes for the Battle Fury, which I like that he sticks to what he knows. And even though sort of other builds have sort of come into flavor for Juggernaut with the Maelstroms and the Diffusals and whatnot, this guy he's playing for that timing, the Battle Fury plus a couple items, and trusting his team to take space, so they take out that comfort hero, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix Pals banned out the Slark, which this hero's probably not in the best place right now, but I will say this SSF Spanky guy is a excellent Slark player. He has many games with the hero, and he plays it extremely well. So I'm not surprised they take special note of that and are taking it out of the pool.
And I'm also curious if they're trying to set up for a pick of their own here in the second round. That Slark kind of just craps on.
They might try to go for another beefy type core who can sort of soak up these spells and go for an early BKB. I'll be curious. I'll also be curious where this Weaver actually ends up going. Last time they first picked the Weaver, they put it on carry, and it had a really rough early game. And although the game eventually stretched out to like 50 or so minutes, it felt like Weaver had a tough time impacting from the beginning. So I'll be curious if they flex it over to support. I know they've ran it as support earlier this season, so they might run it as a 5 or a 4, depending on the way the rest of the draft shapes up. And Mochi just taking out these magic immunity carries, because their Lifestealer would eat these heroes for lunch.
If you're going to pick these supports, you need a way for them to stay relevant in the game.
Yeah, and if you flex Weaver to support with more of an emphasis on the Swarm, I think Lifestealer and Jug to a certain extent as well can be a really nice pick, just dishing out a lot of physical damage in addition to not really caring about the CC on Mochi. So solid bans. They take out the Viper. Pretty annoying lane matchup for Kunkka. I think pretty annoying for any safe lanes as well. I think Mochi ran this in the off lane last time and just kind of griefs your safe lane. Last time these teams played in the winter bracket finals, Mochi got off to a great start in both games out of the lanes the first like 10 minutes or so, and it was very difficult for Peenix Palace to get any sort of footing in the game, so I like their idea of trying to ban some of these tougher early game side laners and give themselves an easier chance from the get-go.
Right. What other carries can we look to expect for Team Mochi?
For
So
Team
they have to
Mochi,
pick cores now, so I'm trying to get your thoughts on what those might be.
so they're difficult to predict, in my opinion. SSF Spanky plays a lot of unconventional safe laners, I would say.
That's what I like to hear.
They swiped his Weaver and Night Stalker's band as well. Last time they went for a core Bristleback, which I could be an interesting pickup here, but Kunkka could always go for the sort of Silver Edge build and control that Bristle. So a bit. I'll be interested. You know, they like this. They like the carry Sniper. I've seen this guy play Necrophos safe lane in addition to some more standard heroes.
It definitely seems like a good Bristle game. Like everything that could deal with a Bristle right now is gone.
I think Bristle. Yeah, they banned out the Viper already.
And the
Peenix actually
Slark.
did. The thing about Mochi is they like to group up as 4 and 5 even early on and just run at you, and they're very coordinated with their teamwork. So I'm looking for a carry that's going to probably be able to contribute early on to these little skirmishes and team fights around the mid game time frame. So your Bristles, heroes like that are more skirmishy in nature. I'll be curious. Maybe a Monkey King could be a solid pickup for them.
I was thinking that.
Oh, they grabbed a Rubik.
This is gonna be an offlane Jakiro?
I'm pretty sure this is actually a mid Rubik. I've seen Han play it before. Oh man, that's really cool actually. Several extremely good spells to steal on the side of from stealing from Peenix Palace. The Shikuchi, the Swarm can both be pretty potent, and getting that boat, it's not really that difficult of a steal. And getting the boat can be a huge way to turn these team fights, get the rum buff on your team, and have it be a long duration team fights done.
Yes, I'm just a bit worried about how the Rubik lanes against the Kunkka, because it seems like Kunkka just gets everything he wants. Rubik eats a lot of harass. And he doesn't really get an opportunity to steal much early on, unless Kunkka just whips his buff combo and gives it to him for free.
Yeah, that is one thing. I don't think Rubik really does much to Kunkka in the early game, and he is going to hit some early timings. If he goes for, say, an armlet build, he's going to get it quite early on. Ah, okay. So this is a hungry Peenix hero. I've seen him when we were prepping to play this team. I saw that he was picking this a lot in his ranked matches and practicing it a lot. So they have the Clockwork. I'm thinking this is now going to be, well, the Weaver's still flexible, but I'm thinking this is a 4 Clockwork and a 3 Veno, just the clock kind of running in front in the lane, and Veno setting up for his battery assault with the slows. I like this combination. Veno's obviously not the tankiest offlaner.
Very much holds the lane hostage, but here's a hero that can kind of just jump out of the slows, jump out of cogs. It's a good answer.
There you see, kind of an, not necessarily unconventional that it's not a carry, but a hero that's not really popular right now with Riki. But they've played it before and he's performed quite well. This is a hero that, if the Weaver is carry, it's really tough. He has to go for a BKB probably earlier than he would actually like. Weaver is a hero that likes Lincolns for survivability, but
and it does
in this
not,
game,
it will not help you in this game.
With Disruptor and Riki, these circles that you just throw on the ground that are silencing you, you're going to need the BKB instead. So it's kind of, I really am actually a big fan of this pick. They don't have a lot of hard lockdown for him that he can't just disjoint or
Yep,
get out of with the tricks.
Yep, it's pretty easy to dodge X mark. I believe. Actually, I'm not sure. I think bugs might still connect to Ricky if he uses tricks of the trade. I could be wrong on that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like he
weird.
dodges it if he gets it at the right time.
But it latches onto you if you're in Yules and stays on if you Yules yourself. That's my hesitancy
Well,
about
that'll
that.
be a funky interaction to look out for.
I'm pretty
I
sure
do-
it will dodge X mark though.
See, this is more so a good reason to me to just flip Weaver down to support. You, you'll be able to put emphasis in the swarm. You can pick up the shard that will reveal invis heroes.
Yes.
I think Ricky's gonna have, or Weaver's gonna have a very tough time against this Ricky if he's a core.
That
And
being
he's, like I said,
Peenix pals have a lot of AoE, like I like to say, incidental damage. And none of the heroes on Team Mochi really like dealing with that. Ricky is very, very squishy, and so is this, well, it looks like a core Rubik. If they eat a couple Tidebringers, Vena ult going on, all of Clock spells, they're gonna have a hard time. They don't really have anyone that can really frontline for them or really initiate a fight, because Ricky does not want to go in first.
no, he does not. Interesting. Mochi bans out Underlord. I don't think they've realized that this is most likely an offlane Venomancer. And
No,
Peenix
Underlord is
Pals-
just too good against Ricky. That's why you want him gone.
Peenix Pal's not really sure about where this Jakiro and Rubik are going either. They
Mhm.
ban a mid SF and a offlane, most likely, Timbersaw. Or maybe they're banning Timbersaw because if they stuck Timbersaw mid against
Yeah.
Kunkka, it could be a tough time as well.
It's very hard for Kunkka in that lane. But yeah, they're kind of all in on this Ricky, so they're stopping the biggest counters to that hero. Puck, Boil just ruins everything Ricky tries to do, and Underlord's much of the same. He's not going to be able to see us in lane. He's just going to be revealed whenever he shows. If he jumps on someone, you just drop the hit on top of them, and it'll catch them as they come out of tricks of the trade as well. It's such a hard counter.
So Peenix Pal's either looking for a 5 here or looking for a support, I should say. It could be a 5 Clockwork theoretically. Either looking for a support or looking for their safe laner. I kind of would like if they grab like another sort of AoE team fighting type of hero. They've got the boat and the Poison Nova, and I feel like if they go for another team fighting hero that can buy a BKB, they can actually take most 5-on-5s against Mochi. Something with some disabling or root power against Ricky, I think would be really nice. So I'll be curious. They did ban out the Puck and the Underlord, so those are two good ones there, but we'll see what they end up going for.
I was thinking about that hero.
Spectre.
That's how you deal with Team Mochi right now. Is you get the jump on their backline, these squishy heroes, and you're gonna get an Axe eventually, which will be put to great use with Rocket Flare, Weaver's constant vision, and bugs. It's just a really, really good way of getting on top of any of these 3 int heroes or cores. They're just not gonna have a bad time because Spectres could be right up in your face.
Yeah, another kind of a tough hero for Ricky to kill as your main source of DPS. Another team fight. If Clockwork gives you
Oh,
vision
what?
globally. Oh, interesting.
So
So is this a mid
still-
Spirit Breaker? It's an offlane Jakiro. A 4 Rubik looks like, and then a mid Spirit Breakers, most likely?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Spirit Breaker's
It's
such a
Spirit Breaker.
it's a really good hero against Clockwork. You can just, if someone gets hooked and cogged, you can just bonk the Clockwork out of his own cogs. You'll phase right through it. It's a lot of control for Kunkka, and even if he gets his combo off, it's gonna be pretty minimal what it does. Really, only Hungry Phoenix is any threat to this Spirit Breaker hero. But they don't really have much control. It's just a really good game for the Spirit Breaker. And
Interesting.
Spectre, I think, is gonna suffer a bit bottom. Is he gonna be laning with the Clockwork or the Weaver?
Looks
it's gonna be
like
with Weaver. Yeah.
most likely.
Okay.
Man, got some good cosmetics coming out here too. I'm gonna have to say I think I favor Mochi's draft. I think Spectre is gonna have a very difficult time getting off the ground here, and I think Ricky has a more easy lane, and it's gonna be able to snowball from there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the same. That being said, I do feel like Team Mochi are kind of on a timer. The Spectre, when she gets big, is gonna be very hard to bring down, even with like the Spirit Break and Shard and whatnot. It's gonna be very hard for her to actually, it's gonna be hard for the Riki to stay alive in fights. Doesn't really have much sustain or heal or anything along those lines. But Jakiro can also just wreak havoc on a Spectre trying to jump your teammates. So there's always that to take into consideration.
All right, so we've heard everything from our two amazing draft panelists here, but now that we're gonna go into the game, Mochi versus Peenix Pals, game 1 here. It should be a real good one to watch here, and I'm joined by my lovely analyst Pip. How's it going, Pip?
Licky, I'll tell you what, that was an intense drafting phase. You see, in most games, I kind of like look at both drafts, and they're similar in a few ways, but you can kind of like over, let's say, like a series of 20 games, you'll see a lot of similarities in how people draft. But this is like really, really different. Both teams have a very different type of draft, so it's going to be really interesting to see. What were your initial thoughts of the draft, Licky?
I really liked. I mean, I think Mochi. I think they started off with those 3 in heroes, which was something that I don't think ever see teams do. But I like the fact that they kept it such a hard draft to predict. It was very open ended, and that was really cool for them. I think it shows like a lot of brain and thought that goes into their draft here, and it talks to why that they're the team that stayed in the upper bracket the entire time. I mean, they're just potentially ahead in terms of just like thinking about this game here. I did also like the fact that Peenix Pals, they brought out like I think their Kunkka pick was really smart, because I think anyone who's seen these two teams play knows that Mochi's mid player Han is he's insanely good on Kunkka, like one of the best Kunkkas I've seen in a while. And this is a cool counter pick that they decided to play around with there.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so both drafts do like a few things pretty well, and then other things not really well at all. So, like we said, we have like the 3 squishy int hero to start, which was immediately punished by a clockwork. Actually, Weaver is kind of in dangerous territory.
Jotun
I'm not sure if I agree with that.
has no Shikuchi available, and will be first blood.
Yeah, and one thing to definitely note here is that the RD2L team, I'm just going to call them the RD2L team against Mochi. But yeah, one thing to note is that there's a lot of pressure. There's not really any initiation in any role besides, let's say, the Kunkka, or I'm sorry, the Clockwork on 4 and then the Kunkka on mid. Not to say that it's not bad initiation at all, but there's not really initiation across other core roles, and it's kind of on mid, which is a little bit different from what you usually see in drafts. Usually initiation is like the 4 and the 3. Because initiation, usually if you're the one initiating, you're the first one to get hit, and that's not necessarily what you want in the mid laner. It'll be fine though. I think Kunkka, to start off, will, he does his job very well. However, so we were talking about, Insane Chaos was mentioning that the Spectre is kind of like a timer this game, but at the same time, Spiritbreaker has so much. Like, he wants to build Silver Edge, he wants to get his Axe Shard this game, and he's going to be like a huge pain in the ass for Spectre. It might delay Spectre's timing until Team Mochi can win the game, but in the same token, Jakiro's kind of like the only great tower push that Mochi has. So both drafts are kind of confusing for me, and also with this RD2L team. So they have Spectre as their late game insurance policy, but they have a really weird mid game area where they have Kunkka, who does he do well in mid game? Sure, he does. Okay. Veno does pretty okay in mid game, but it feels like they're really missing something.
Okay.
And honestly,
what do you think that you're saying that they're missing something? What do you think that they're lacking in? Do you like a mid-game powerhouse? Is that what you're looking for? Damage? Is that what you're seeing? Or
I think the Veno as the core source of damage for their team is a little bit unreliable, especially against, like, let's say a disruptor, where if you're at all caught out on that Veno at any point, let's say this, if the Veno is caught out at any point in this game, they pretty much lose all damage in their fight. Now, but it's so confusing because now we're looking at Mochi and they have a lot of squishy heroes, so it doesn't even really matter. So
yeah, it's definitely 2 interesting drafts. I don't think I've seen drafts like this for a very long time. I think a lot of people at this point are discussing like how like stale the meta is, but I think this is one of like the freshest drafts I've seen in a very long time. Like, it's just all new ideas being put out here, and it's always nice to see in grand finals. I think game one's the time where if you have any thoughts and ideas, like that's the time to try it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Let's just hope that they're really good at... It really depends on like weird games like this, like which team is better at adapting, because a lot of teams are really good at playing one specific type of draft, and honestly, that's the way I recommend tackling each game. But when everyone's trying new things in the the final game or like the final series, or honestly any series, it comes up to who has more game knowledge, more experience, and who can execute the weird drafts. So it's about captaining a lot as well.
A nice Cogs trap down bottom. The Glimpse was not able to stop it in time, and now Flydom, oh, he's gonna get caught by the battery assault as well. Werewood, plus Hungry Phoenix turning onto the Disruptor right here, and this may be the first kill in the bottom lane, able to clean up the pause 5.
And that's great momentum, it's not really momentum. So both teams have a pretty strong early to mid game. Obviously Mochi's feels a little bit stronger. They have a lot of early just damage everywhere. And depending on how Ricky is going to tackle his build, whether he's going to go like Battle Fury or if he's going to go something earlier, they could be hyper aggressive. Like Spearbreaker mid is what, the most aggressive pick I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it also depends how he plays it. Is he going to be staying in mid? Is he going to be running to side lanes? And what really can AD2L do to stop this? Maybe try and X him while he's doing this. He's actually going for the Weaver right now. Weaver's really...
He might get the kill if he gets
danger.
a few bashes. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
And he comes back, but Kunkka's totally fine with that. He grabs a few CS, a few denies, and that's a little bit of an advantage for him in this lane. So it's oh my gosh, it's a level 4 Spirit Breaker against the level 5, almost a level 6 Kunkka. This is insane.
This Kunkka's, I think, about to get a kill right when he hits level 6 here. Spirit Breaker is quite tanky, but after a few Tidebringers and a Ghost Ship should be enough to take down Han.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell because drafts are so weird. It's so hard to tell who has the better draft. I would probably bet on AD2L, just because I think the Spectre Ags at any point in this game is going to be really, really terrible for Mochi, and I don't think Mochi really has enough tower push unless they're really stressing this Jakiro. This Jakiro's 3, right? So it really depends on how the Jakiro's lane goes, how the rest of the game will go, because if they don't have a Jakiro pushing towers, then they don't really have anything in this game. But the Spectre's going to receive an absolute beating in the first 10 minutes of this game. Just look at how scared he is in this lane.
Yeah, Erok is not having a great time, and plus, the 5 Weaver doesn't really provide a lot to this lane. Mostly been going to secure water runes. Jotun actually might be in trouble here. Gonna go down again. 2 deaths here.
Weaver, so squishy. Weaver is like the type of 5 pick that a Jakiro just eats. You just have to cast 1 Q and 1 E on Jakiro, and Weaver's pretty much dead, especially because Jakiro's closing in on level 5 here. Weaver's a measly level 3, and Weaver's strength gain isn't really that great. It's 2 per level, and he doesn't really have any resources that he can buy as a 5 to survive against that.
Yeah, the best you can hope for is like a fluffy hat or something, but most Weavers like to get like an Urn or a Yule's. Pogger's just gonna TP out of here, doesn't want to mess around. We'll go all the way back to base though. Has boots, so can get back kind of quickly.
I honestly think the Veno has had a pretty decent lane in the bot lane so far. It doesn't really feel like Ricky or Disruptor want to go on him at any point, especially when he hits level 6. Like, they're both going to die if they ever try and go on him. So I think any sort of attempt to shut down the Spirit Breaker early, because we've already discussed that the Weaver top isn't really working that much. He can maybe make stacks, and honestly, if that's what he's doing this game, that's fine with me. But if he wants to take a more active approach, they can just send 3 heroes mid against the Spirit Breaker and clean him up with the Kunkka boat.
Yeah, I think that raises a really good point, because I think the Spirit Breaker is going to be the make or break for Mochi, because for Peenix Pals, you talked about a lot on the Spectre and how that is going to be huge for taking out these squishy heroes for Mochi, and I think the answer to the Spectre, the Spirit Breaker, has to be dealt with on the side of Peenix Pals, and committing both supports I think is perfectly fine, because Veno is possibly like the most ungankable hero in the game when you have levels in those wards, and then the threat of Nova, you don't even have to skill it. You can put the level point at level 6 into wards, but the fact that you just potentially have it and could kill all these heroes here is just so terrifying. No one's gonna come bottom except maybe the Spirit Breaker, but if you're ganking in mid anyway, then what's the point?
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's just so many ways to tackle this game, which makes it actually really fun to cast. We can kind of like think of different ways each team can tackle this very weird game. And so it's like we have these two heroes that are going to pop off on Mochi, which is the Spear Breaker and the Jakiro. But the Jakiro is actually kind of shared a lot of XP with Rubik. Rubik is
Ricky
higher
bottom.
level.
Spanky's actually going on to Peenix here. Gets him kind of low, and no mana's available for the Nova, actually.
That Nova would have completely cleaned up those heroes.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
he
they
really
decided
needs
to go aggressive.
do good with that.
He went Corrosion on Ricky. How do you feel about that? You think that's the right play in this lane?
I think with their drafts, they're kind of doubling down on winning the game early. So I think, well, in this lane, Orb of Corrosion gives them a little bit of kill potential. But it might be just as like a general thing to have at any point in the game. So if a hero is ever out of position, then you can use the Orb of Corrosion as a potential way to engage. Honestly, I think it's fine. He's getting it because he wants to be active early and he's going to get a lot of value out of it. And I support that. That's fine with me.
Alright, mid Han's actually come back a little decently in terms of XP. Still half of Soralella's CS right now, so has a little ways to catch up and get some items. It looks like Kunkka's going for that Silver Edge Rush. Actually, no armlet, anything like that. Wants to be able to, I guess, just one-shot these supports with damage.
Spearbreaker's getting a little bit he's manning up a little bit on the Kunkka, doing what he can in the lane, but that's a great point that you brought up. Like, I don't know how Spearbreaker can be so far behind. Like, they both have a similar amount of base damage, if not, Spearbreaker has more. Kunkka might have an improved animation, and he has the ability to farm the side camps as well. So obviously he's gonna break ahead a little, but double? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think Sora's been efficiently like pulling out the wave, and you see right now creates 2 stacks here, one with the torrent, one with just dragging out the large camp, so clearly knows how to farm up his hero quite well.
And the siege on top is starting. They don't have they have a catapult coming now, but they're starting the siege. He's maxing liquid fire on the Jakiro. I love to see it because he wants to be pushing towers all game. This is where the creativity is really coming through, and I would support that 100%. And also, I think it also in a core role on Jakiro.
Oh, down bottom, they're gonna get the Nether Strike onto Hungry Phoenix. The glimpse back as well. Sora's gonna be brought away, so Werewood is probably food here in this bottom lane. Gonna trap the Spear Breaker with him in the cogs as well. Pig Pole, not enough to get him away in time. 4-man rotation bottom for Mochi is gonna net them 2 kills.
And we have see, that all looks nice and dandy, but look at what Kunkka's doing mid. He has
Ooh,
a catapult
siege
wave,
wave,
and he's taking this wave pretty much for free. Now we do have a catapult in the bottom lane as well, but what are they gonna do with it? Looks like Rubik's coming mid, but too little too late. That tower is dead.
Unless, they might get the turn kill though. Jakiro's here, used macro, but we'll have the
Great
Q.
TP from Veno.
Yeah,
Just
Phoenix.
like so preemptive, like they saw it coming. And yeah, he doesn't want to complete into the Venomancer with ultimate. And so this push might still happen in the bottom lane, but they don't have any heroes to help with this. And Kunkka might even just rotate down there right now. Wow, they're playing the waves or the lanes very, very well on the AD2L team. You said Phoenix Pals?
Phoenix Pals, yeah.
Peenix Pals.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Interesting
yeah,
name.
Yeah, and so as soon as the pressure is relieved in the top lane,
Spanky
Spectre's
down
already
bottom.
back there.
Oh, he tried to dodge the X, but he's not going to get through. Sora actually held the torrent and the boat. Managed to outplay Spanky down bottom. Great play there.
And it looks like the Ricky's actually going to be aiming for a Diffusal Blade, so he definitely doesn't want to act as an insurance policy going Battle Fury and kind of letting the rest of his team, you know, win him the first half of the game so he can try and win the second half. That's a good call from him because I feel like the Spectre scaling and also the Veno scaling, especially if Veno goes Axe or something.
Tornado down bottom. He has the stolen
guess.
Shikuchi. Sliding around Invis. Will he get away in time though? Why does this feel like a much lower cooldown on Rubik? That can't be a thing.
Oh, Rubik has to be careful.
Oh, the giant balls from Tornado to go in. The Haunt is popped though from Spectre to hop around the map as it looks like they were actually yanking E-Rock top. The bash, trying to dagger away, gonna get caught in the ice patch as well.
Oh no,
They need a little more damage. Caught in the kinetic field, they need 1 stun. Where is it? They don't have it in time. And bottom?
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we got a great kill pickup on the Venomancer. That was after his ultimate, I believe. Rubik's just going to head right back home. And Ricky's also going to back off as well. They got the bottom tower, though. So, honestly, even though we look at Mochi's team and think that they want to be a little bit more active in the early game, not saying that AD2L, or sorry, Peenix Palace team isn't that great at early game. It's just like Mochi's is a little bit better. Considering that, Peenix Palace is actually like, they're doing all their movements make a lot of sense. They're trading towers, they're playing catapults, they even have a little bit more map control. It's 13 minutes into the game with a position 3 Jakiro. You have to, if you're picking a position 3 Jakiro, you have to be active all around the map. And look at just, if we just look at the map for 1 second, Radiant team is completely like, they don't want to do anything right now. The Jakiro is in such a passive stance. It looks like they're gonna try and go for mid, but it doesn't look like a very motivated push to me.
Yeah, the thing is, for Phoenix Palace, I feel like Mochi's drafted this very push-oriented lineup, but I feel like you've got the deep push hero, one of the most annoying deep push heroes ever. This Veno, you just plop the Veno in a lane, whatever lane that is, and it requires an insane amount of commitment. Oh, DD Rune, Spanky, gonna steal it, very nice. But you just put the Veno in the lane, and this Jakiro cannot walk up. This hero's already incredibly slow. Add Poison Sing on top of that, and he's not getting out of there. So now that they've brought like 4 heroes here, I think maybe finally they can push, especially with the Spirit Breaker ready to charge in, but it's taking a large commitment from this Ricky who still doesn't have Diffusal. Like, I don't think Spanky should be joining these fights just yet.
Yep, he definitely has to play his item timings here. And that's kind of like your job as carry. Regardless of how you're playing the carry, you want to let your item timings determine how you play. And so what we know about Ricky is that if he's going Diffusal Blade, he's maybe two times stronger with the Diffusal Blade than without. So it just makes sense to get that item before you start moving with your team, or let that item timing guide your team's movements. But right now they're just playing so passive. No, not even smoking in the triangle. 3 people collide. Looks like the Jakiro's going to start taking stacks, but honestly I think that's wasted potential, because Jakiro, if you're picking that hero as a core role, you have to be shoving lanes, like absolutely dominating the early game in order to justify it. You do not want to be farming stacks.
Oh,
you know,
charge onto E-Rock here. He has a haunt in 1 second if he's able to get away, but no, they're going to glimpse him back. They're going to use the Static Storm as well. That's a huge gank for this Spectre, but it's going to be completed. Sora coming in, though, going to get the X off onto Spanky right here. He does have the tricks of the trade. He's going to dodge out the Torrent, but not the boat, and oh my god. That Silver Edge hit. And Tornado actually got deleted as well through with that. Now Jakiro in a little bit of trouble. Jotun going in, but has the time lapse. Going to get himself out of there. But now Han charging in. Hungry Phoenix plus the hook shot coming in from Werewood as well. They're going to glimpse the Veno's way. Han now caught in the cogs here. Taking a ton of damage from the Veno ult as well. Ponger's going to go down. Jotun tick damage as well. Tick damage from every single hero on this team here. But now Flydom, the last member of Mochi alive, running away. The little pig's going to chase him down. Maybe Sora's going to get the right click. He does. This Kunkka balling out.
And there you go, Kunkka just absolutely proving me wrong in the first half of the game. I said that the damage was mainly focused on Veno, but then I looked at the other team, Mochi, and I'm like, well, they're really squishy. And then Kunkka literally just, you know, proved that. He one
Hungry Phoenix
and their entire team
getting
dies.
owned by a Ricky with Diffusal. My god, he got like 5 shots.
Very back and forth, but we definitely have to pay attention to how Mochi is transitioning these great kills into tower pushes. Jakiro is their facilitator of tower pushes. He's in the bot lane right now. So if I see Jakiro bot, I want an entire team behind him trying to take these towers, trying to gain map control, or else the Jakiro pick feels like it might fall flat. I'm absolutely willing to be proven wrong here. If I see a Jakiro with 3 items tearing up the game, you know, everything I know is a lie, but honestly, I'm here for it.
Honestly, I would prefer for Mochi to be sending these heroes top right now. I think the Spirit Breaker can very easily deal with waves. I mean, one of the best things about this, I don't want to call it the best thing because I hate Spirit Breaker meta, but the fact that he's able to just clear out a wave with a charge. Like, you never have to deal with like waves coming back. Both teams have this global potential. But I think I've seen some Mochi's games, and I think they maybe overvalue the bottom towers here, the offlane towers. I would like to see them maybe pressuring top a little more and playing around Roche. Because I don't think I mean, Phoenix Palace does have the Weaver to help them take Roche, so I think they need to be like constantly applying pressure there and forcing them up top rather than trying to go bottom.
Yeah, but at the same time, like we see this Jakiro bot, he's totally alone, and his team is his very early game oriented team, and let's say mid game as well. His early to mid game oriented team is just kind of like in the middle lane, even showing like 2 heroes in the middle lane. So if Jakiro shows bot, that sends a huge signal to Peenix Palace that Jakiro is alone. If they kill that Jakiro, if they shut down the Jakiro, the game
dear.
feels over.
Well, that is what's known as a fire alarm that's happening right now, and that's not good. So I'm gonna have to step out for a little bit. That's tragic. But Pip can keep this cast going. So sorry
I
about that.
got you, man. So Licky, can you confirm that? Are you still like? Do you have the thing on the screen? Are you like still?
Yeah,
Like,
stream
moving
will
the
keep
camera?
going. It'll go like
Alright.
directed, but yeah.
But you can't talk because of the alarm. I got you,
Yeah.
man. It's not too bad for your mic though. However, we're through Discord, so it might be a lot worse for stream. Anyway, so they get a kill in the top lane onto the Weaver, which is honestly a great pick. There are 4 heroes in the top lane, but all these movements, I have to say, they don't make too much sense to me because they have 4 heroes in the top lane without Jakiro farming triangle. Whereas Jakiro in that lane could be pushing tower right now. And I bet you $1 million Peenix Palace cannot match that heavy push with max liquid fire Jakiro. There was a little bit of a rocket going into the top lane. I don't know if it scouted out any heroes, but it looks like a charge is coming through for Spirit Breaker into the bottom lane now. He better not complete that charge. Yeah, it looks like it went to the mid lane. But yeah, there looks like Peenix Pals are preparing for a push in the bottom lane with Plague Wards, which is definitely not what you want. But however, Veno didn't set up Plague Wards in the bottom trees, so these TPs kind of completed without any punishment. This entire jungle is controlled by Peenix Palace. They're looking for kills. We have an Invis Ricky and an Invis Spirit Breaker. Hopefully someone has Dust. And, oh no, the clock. The hook did not complete. They were unable to lock down the Ricky, but honestly, Ricky's still kind of in a bad place. They send out the boat. They're just kind of right-clicking him. Didn't even really use spells. Actually, Clockwork has all of his spells. He didn't use anything. And I didn't even see if he like cogged to get the Ricky out of the the tricks of the trade, but whatever, they get the kill, and that's the kill on the 1 position of Radiant. And especially with such an early to mid game oriented lineup, like that's really not good. I'm very concerned. Honestly, you can probably hear I'm so concerned for Radiant this game because we have the Spectre insurance policy, and look at Spectre. Spectre only has 1 item and they're all destroying the Spirit Breaker in the bottom lane right now. And they might start pushing with that. They have the Veno to do sustained pushes. They do have Spectre who might want a few more items, but he has Shadow Step, so he's going to have global map presence. Especially with heroes like Veno or Clock anywhere on the map, Spectre can be there destroying these very, very squishy heroes like Disruptor, like Rubik. Even Jakiro is pretty squishy in a sense this game. So yeah, we have a Catapult in the bottom wave. Venomancer's going to push just a little bit. Let's see what kind of items Rubik is getting. It looks like he's opting for a first item Yules, so he's not going to be taking much of an initiator route. Looks like that's going to be mostly on Spirit Breaker. We still don't have any Plague Wards in the trees, which I think is definitely something you want to do on Venomancer here, so that you're not really, guessing if they're in the trees or not on that bottom part. But it looks like Team Mochi wants to defend this. They have 3 heroes here. They're throwing out a Macro Pyre, and Venomancer's just gonna kind of back away. He's not really too concerned with this. He has plenty of wards. He knows that the very squishy team of Team Mochi does not want to push into that. Charge in the mid lane. This could definitely end up being a kill. Depends on who responds. Connects with Weaver. Not gonna commit ultimate. Just gonna go for the Arcane Rune. Kind of split off. Both teams are kind of in close proximity though. Oof, the Kunkka, please Kunkka, no, he's so alone. Looks like they realized that too. He X'd himself, a quick juke, but looks like the charge is coming in, completed. A bunch of spells coming out. The AoE silence is so good against that team, especially the Clockwork. Venomancer getting past this ult. We have a Haunt coming out. And actually that's destroying the entire Radiant team. Like, they were Mochi was winning this fight a second ago, and they all just collapsed. I can't even keep track. Jakiro just died. Rubik looks like he's gonna die in a second. Spearbreaker lived with just an ounce of health, and honestly, Rubik being alive is really good so he can clear this next wave. But that entire fight turned so quickly. And this is what I was talking about. It's like Spectre just rushed Ags, saw that this is like a great Ags game. He's probably gonna pick up like a, you know, a Basher, a Diffusal, something similar. It looks like a Yasha's coming to him right now. But yeah, basically, I think too much time has passed in this game. It's like 23 minutes in. Too much time has already passed because of the Jakiro pick for them to like push down towers in such a dominant way like they were kind of envisioning with this draft. So yeah, I mean, this game looks like an uphill battle for Mochi moving forward. This really depends, you know, I already think it's escaping them, but their movements in the next, you know, 3 to 5 minutes really solidify this game. Because if they choose to extend this out, I have a feeling that's not going to work to their best interest. The Spectre is just going to destroy their entire team. They're going to need to be 6-slotted on everyone in order to compete. So we have Dire kind of moving to the bot lane. Weaver has just been kind of playing his own game this game, which honestly it's fine. He's like pushing out waves. That's all I want from my 5. That's why I think Wyvern is a great hero. You just kind of like push waves, you're slippery. If they commit resources to kill you, it's generally too many resources because you're just a 5. So he's just going to take these lanes very passively. Spear Picker, you know, just kind of farming his next item. It looks like he's going for Ags this game. Not getting an Ags shard against the Spectre, which honestly might be fine. I mean, honestly, Ags is crazy, so I kind of agree with his decision there. Spectre's not too much of a problem yet. He definitely is a problem, but not like stopping your item progression type of problem. So, a bunch of wards in the bottom lane. Venomancer has, you know, his Plague Ward army, and now Radiant, are they going to decide to defend it? This tower is getting really low, and honestly, I don't think they want to fight into the Venomancer. This Venomancer ended up being such a good pick against this team. We still have all these heroes kind of like walking around in the bottom lane for Team Mochi. And this tower looks like it's going to fall. Yep, they're just moving away. They're okay with this tier 2 falling. And this is exactly the opposite of how they envisioned this game going so far. Rubik kind of searching, have sentry down. Oh my god, found the Rubik, locking him down. We have a Yule's coming, trying to delay the Kunkka, but there you go. As you were saying, Licky, earlier in the game, this guy's a Kunkka player. He knew exactly what Rubik was doing. He was clicking on heroes. He knew he had a Yule's. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Spearbreaker's actually going on the Spectre, but Spectre is tanky, and Spearbreaker cannot kill him right now. And here we go. We have the boat coming down. Spearbreaker taking all these spells. He's charging. That actually might be fine. He's so fine. And Ricky's trying to kill people, mop people up. We have Spectre shadow stepping in. And now it looks like Ricky's in trouble. He ends up blinking away. He's fine. Spearbreaker ends up being fine as well. Have a glimpse. Is Disruptor going to be fine? Looks like Disruptor gets away. They're going on the Venomancer. Oh my god, Ricky is so low. He is so dead. He ends up picking up the Venomancer, but a 3 for a 1 is not a trade that you are happy with as a 1 position. And oh my god, Kunkka is literally just so far away from the rest of his team. He's like hunting. Wow, great vision in the triangle. They see this Rubik coming a mile away. They're throwing all these spells out on Weaver. Weaver looks fine though. Rubik is in a lot of trouble. The Haunt is coming through. He actually committed a full Haunt for that. I don't know if that was worth it. But now they're just kind of sieging the tower. They actually don't have... Yeah, Veno's dead. So they don't siege the towers too well. This is definitely one of the things about their draft, is that they're unable to really push towers. They're really kind of focused for a mid or late game type scenario. And in the bottom lane, so Spearbreaker does have his axe completed. He's going to go for BKB next. That definitely solves the clock problem. You know, mitigates almost all of Venomancer's damage, mitigates a lot of Kunkka damage. So that seems like a good item, but it's just like, you pick Spearbreaker not so much to farm, but more to, you know, get a lot of momentum. And the game is like, the scoreboard, it's 14 to 15, dead even, pretty much between two teams. But in the even scenario at 27 minutes is so good for Peenix Fellas. All right, and let's kind of look at like GPM, because I'm pretty sure that will tell a different story in this game. Oh my god, 624 GPM on Kunkka versus his the laner against him was Spearbreaker at 413. So Kunkka is having an absolutely fine time this game. And if he's playing Kunkka to scale, which it looks like he is, he's going like Daedalus, not really the earlier game items. They're actually sending a boat in the bottom lane onto the Spearbreaker. He dies, 450 gold into the pocket of Kunkka, and that's going to go towards his next Daedalus. He's playing for late game. Spectre's playing for late game. The Venomancer late game is going to absolutely shed. It's looking like Peenix Palace has a good lock on this game. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. If Mochi has something in their sleeve, then they got to show it. We have the Manta on the Ricky. He's actually going to try going for the Weaver. Oh my god, but Weaver has 4 staff complete. He does not feel that at all. A little bit of an engagement. It looks like Hook is coming out on Clockwork. He's going to push that Disruptor back. Disruptor is so dead, it looks like. Yes, the entire team is basically there just killing. And honestly, Spectre didn't even... So he used Shadow Step, but he didn't even commit to the Shadow Step. He wants that free top farm. He has Hunt on a 2-second cooldown, so if a fight breaks out, it looks like it'll probably be Peenix Palace favored. So, small push coming out here. Kunkka very strong. Just looking at his items, Silver Edge. He has a Daedalus completed coming out to him fairly soon. BKB. He's very scary. Oh, but we have a Diffusal Blade coming in. A Mist Ice Path and a Macro Pyre. Kunkka just kind of like walks and he's totally fine with that. He throws out. Oh, it looks like we have a hook coming in. That was a fantastic hook by Clock, pushing these heroes both away. Jakiro just melts instantly. Looks like they're going to turn on the Clockwork. Clock dies instantly. Spearbreaker just going to start smacking this Kunkka. Kunkka still has a boat available to mitigate some of that damage. Spearbreaker causing a lot of damage. Ooh, but he gets melted by the Kunkka Tidebringer. And Venomancer, even though he was just like getting targeted in that fight, he's still like wanting to go into high ground. Ricky is actually going to double dash onto the Venomancer, use his tricks of the trade. Venomancer's going to die. The rest of these heroes are coming in to kill the Ricky. That's the one position for Team Mochi going down. Oh my god, entire team wipe. Peenix Palace absolutely dominated this game. They played the map so well. They had a great draft. It was actually a very creative draft. Mochi had a creative draft as well, but the execution didn't look like it was really there to start. Kunkka being a pal and, you know, letting his Spectre come back for a sustained push. But yeah, we just saw that Jakiro absolutely get melted. That's their 3 position. Completely melted. It's 30 minutes into the game. That's way too late for Jakiro to pop off. And Jakiro, oh my god. They didn't even really commit necessarily that much. They just shadow stepped on him. And he's out. Now, there's 5 heroes dead, and they're kind of backing off. I don't know if I agree with that too much. They can at least get a little bit more poke on that tower. I guess they're playing it safe because the Spirit Breaker's coming up. That actually makes a lot of sense. And Spirit Breaker, after how that fight went, he's going to want to get a kill. He's going for Weaver top. But Weaver has a 4-staff. Weaver now has a point booster coming up. He's kind of tanky. Let's see if he's able to get this kill. Ultimate coming out, and he doesn't even need a bash. That's a dead Weaver. But that's only a 5 position, and that was even a little bit hard. So Peenix Palace feel absolutely fine. They're playing a little bit passively on their side of the map, kind of getting their health back because they were pretty low from those last few fights. But they feel absolutely fine. Licky was talking earlier about how Roshan is a huge objective in this game. So I feel like Peenix Palace is going to start orienting themselves around Roche, getting vision up, kind of playing around Roche. They can probably do it at any time. If we're looking at Mochi and being honest with ourselves, we don't see like the best team fight. Disruptor team fight is absolutely insane. However, not the initiator that you're looking to start a team fight. So honestly, I think Peenix Palace could literally just go into pit at any point whenever they feel ready. Even right now, it looks like they're kind of orienting themselves around it. Yeah, as soon as they go Roche, they can probably just start sieging with the Veno and just take a very relaxed approach to sieging, because, you know, time is on their side in this game. We see Spirit Breaker kind of, you know, still a ways away from BKB. Not too many big items coming out. Actually, a smoke coming out for Radiant. Smoke without Spirit Breaker, but Spirit Breaker can get there no problem. Ricky still just has Manta and Diffusal, not too much extra damage. Aghanims actually in Jakiro is a fair amount of damage, but is it enough for a fight like this? So the charge comes out on the Spectre did not complete that, did not commit to it. It looks like he's going to Shadow Step. The fight's going to start. Weaver starts the fight, pretty much completely dead. Haunt comes out. Spirit Breaker is way too far in. Will Spirit Breaker die? Oh my god, he's taken down. Disruptor falls. All these heroes are getting shredded by all these skills. The Poison Nova doing a ton of work. And that's 4 heroes dead. And honestly, it didn't even feel like a fight even began. It's 33 minutes. Honestly, we were starting to sweat a little bit at like around 20 minutes, but only 10 minutes has passed, and the lead is so huge. I don't know if we can get like a general worth graph up on the screen, but it's like, what, 50,000 gold for Dire right now? I can't read it too well, but I think it's like some huge lead, like something that you cannot come back from. BKB still a ways away on Ricky. BKB still a ways away from Spirit Breaker. The entire team of Peenix Palace is on high ground. They might even try ending, who knows. They feel very strong right now. They have Venomancer ult up, Haunt's on cooldown, so they're gonna play it a little bit safe. This is an important game for them, so they're just gonna kind of back up. You know, they are in no rush to win. They know that time is on their side this game, and I think it looks like they're gonna look at Roche and get that onto one of their heroes. Now, which hero do they want? They have a lot of tanky heroes that probably won't die. Maybe Venomancer. Maybe Venomancer is the Aegis carrier this game. I'd be totally fine with that. And they absolutely shred is Roshan because of the Spectre. Spectre actually going for the Aegis, even though he's by far the tankiest and most unkillable hero in the game. I respect the hustle though. Shadow stepping onto Ricky and just diving. He does not feel at all threatened, especially with this Aegis. And there's the 3 position Jakiro at 35 minutes, absolutely shredded. Oh my god, and there's Coco with the Daedalus and the Swift Blink. Practically one-shotting the Rubik. And now they're looking to end this game. We don't have a buyback on Rubik. We don't have a buyback on Jakiro. This should be a fairly easy push, and I don't think Team Mochi intends at all to defend this X. So Plague Ward's coming up. Ricky just stepped up to, you know, hit him with the smoke screen, and Kunkka hit right back for almost 1,000 damage. Disruptor can't do much either. Looks like a pretty free Rex to me. Jakiro on a 5-second timer, but even with all their heroes up, they don't want to fight. So there goes the Rex. Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker was coming in from the side, but I don't think you guys. Well, honestly, what can they do? I can't even blame them, because at this point of the game, it's like, what can you really do? Spirit Breaker is gonna fall. They're gonna try getting this Kunkka. Kunkka's actually getting really low. He does not have Aegis. We had a Weaver ult coming out. The boats kind of not really hitting much, but Jakiro falls instantly. Kunkka actually died in that fight, and we still have Aegis on Spectre. He's a little bit low. The buyback coming out on Spirit Breaker. He came all the way in. No punishment though, because most of their spells are already used. And actually, that's a great glimpse. So this is a great little turnaround for Mochi. If they can kind of sustain this energy, you know, maybe going into late game, maybe they'll be okay, but it still looks really, really dire for them, even though they're on Team Radiant. Yeah, we definitely just need a lot of items on both their supports. So it looks like Disruptor's eyeing an Aghanims. If he can get that Aghanims before the next fight, that'll definitely help against like all the BKBs and pretty much everything, like Yules, Force Staff on Venomancer. It'll help a ton against the side of the Dire. But they still have Aegis. Spectre still has Aegis, so as soon as their heroes are up, they didn't commit buybacks or anything. We have a buyback on Spirit Breaker used. They can literally just go bot and go for this last Rax. And they feel invincible. Like, Spectre only got to half health that fight. And he was still swinging. Weaver just casually, no boots, because we don't need boots on Weaver, right? He just has a Force Staff and an Aghanims. So hard to to kill any hero as soon as you get the Aghanims. But I honestly, I think the Aghanims was used on Kunkka in that last fight. I might be wrong, but it wasn't really used the best because Kunkka was already low, and he was low for like, you know, 10 seconds, and then the time lapse one on him. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong.
Back to point.
And Venomancer is already starting the siege bottom. Spectre pushing out top because he can shadow step in at any point. And the rest of the heroes are kind of congregating around bottom, while Radiant is kind of searching top for a little bit of a pick. And honestly, if they get a pick on Spectre, that wouldn't be that bad, but Spectre has 4,000 HP with Dispersion, with buffed Dispersion. It looks like Spectre's just going to TP out. Ricky kind of wanted to get a little bit of a pick going, but didn't really work out. So we're doing a slow siege bottom. And the cool part about sieging is that they have really, really great vision with the wards on Veno and with the rocket flare on clock. And it's late enough in the game where they can actually start hitting towers. And so Spectre onto the high ground, soaking up a few spells, hitting this tower, and Radiant just feel like they cannot do anything because he has Aegis. He has Aegis for another 30 seconds. And if they try waiting it out, well, they're gonna be against Megas. We have a hook coming in onto the Ricky. Ricky is getting a little bit locked down. He's Manta styling, bunch of spells coming out. Spearbreaker casting ultimate, but it still looks like everyone on the side of the Radiant is kind of melting. Spectre respawning from the Aegis. He's so tanky, and all the spells on the side of the Radiant were pretty much used at this point. There's no Static Storm, no Spearbreaker ultimate, nothing like that. No Macro Pyre anymore. But Spectre is, sitting in the current Micro Pyre. Another hook coming onto the Rubik, pushing the Rubik back. Weaver's the only one hitting the Rubik, and honestly, Rubik might still die. Charge coming out onto the Venomancer. Oh my god, Spectre actually is dead. Even though he's, the tankiest hero in the game. And all these heroes are dying. It looks like Kunkka's getting really low. Kunkka is falling, Venomancer is falling, and Spearbreaker only has a little bit of health left. The buyback from Kunkka, I feel like one auto attack from Kunkka, and then Spearbreaker's dead. Oh, Spearbreaker's ulti again, and they're just kind of smacking on this Kunkka. They have vision. What just happened? And we have a few voice lines. So, the entire team of Peenix Palace just died. Even though it looked like they had it for like the longest time in that fight. I saw a lot of low Radiant heroes, and I was just kind of like starting to yawn and being like, all right, let's get this game over with. But an entire team wipe with a Kunkka buyback, or dieback, I should say. But can they push and get anything off of this? I don't think so, because we have Clockwork up in a few seconds, we have Spectre up in a few seconds, and there's really no towers that the Radiant currently has on the Dire. So they're not going to be able to just march onto high ground and start sieging. They might get a tier 2. They might. Big maybe. But honestly, take what you can get. They are against... Oh my god. Their ability to defend Megas is not too great. But they're going to try. Spearbreaker handling the wave. They're doing a little bit of a push. Let's see what Clockwork wants to do, because he definitely has a Spectre coming up with Haunt in a few seconds. A little bit of a siege, double catapult, a lot of damage. TP is now coming in on the mid lane. This is going to be like a 3v4. We have the Venomancer ultimate coming out, Shakiro popping BKB, Spectre popping BKB in return, Shadow stepping, still has Haunt as well. There's going to be the Haunt. And looks like Disruptor's going to fall pretty low. Clockwork is actually really low. Clockwork ends up falling. Ricky's, taking a lot of damage from the Venomancer. A Spectre's actually half health. I don't know how he's taking so much damage. Looks like an ultimate's going to come from Spearbreaker. Oh my god, is that Spectre dead? Don't tell me that Spectre dead. Oh my god, Spectre died. The Yule's coming out from Venomancer to punish the Spearbreaker, but Spearbreaker can just charge away just like that. What is going on? But... Ricky on 100-second cooldown for with no buyback, I should add. Spectre does have buyback and Shadow Step, so he can be there soon, and they could probably end the game. We see that there's a little bit of a struggle with defending because their heroes aren't really equipped to handle Mega Creeps, but Shakiro getting level 25, 2x dual breath damage and range might help a lot. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of an engagement in the mid lane. They're casting all these spells onto Spearbreaker, boat coming down. Spearbreaker is just going to BKB out of it. Venomancer used ult, and it looks like it did connect with Spearbreaker, so they have to kind of back up. but when they're backing up and healing, their tier 4s are falling. Spearbreaker going back in on the Weaver, but the Weaver can just kind of like, yeah, he can shrug that off. BKB coming out on Kunkka. Kunkka just one-shot Spearbreaker. Mega creeps in Fountain. It looks like this game should be pretty close to over. They're knocking on the tier 4s a little bit. Kunkka's trying to get a few style points in before the game ends. Can't knock him for that. Weaver just kind of whacking on the Chikiro. A hook coming in. They're focusing on Throne.
All right. I am back at the very end of the game. That's
yes,
terrible
Licky.
timing, but
that's great timing, Licky. I should say the game just ended.
Okay, Peenix Palace, they won. Okay, give me the spark notes. What happened here in this game?
So here's the spark notes.
Okay.
Jakiro fell off at 20 minutes, as predicted. They weren't able to really get any towers, and it just became a scaling game. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Wow. Okay, look at the graph code. Yeah, pretty much that. I am so sorry about that. There was apparently something actually burning in the building, so I had to leave, but I'm sure Pip did an amazing job covering that for the 15 or so minutes that it took. But we are going to take a super short break before Game 2, and we'll be back with our panel to break down Game 1. All right, and we are back with our panel to break down Game 1 for you all. Again, we have Insane Chaos and Rusty Shackleford to break down and give you all the analysis you've ever wanted and needed for Game 1.
Hey guys.
Greetings.
It looked like coming out of lanes, it did look like Team Mochi. They had a lot of oomph to them, but they didn't really accomplish what they needed in lane. Like this Jakiro Rubik didn't really kill tower and start moving around the map. Spectre got way too much out of lane, even with a roaming Weaver. I don't know. And then you just have this extremely farmed Kunkka just running around using Tidebringer on people, and they die shortly after.
Yeah, to me, they did not address Kunkka, and then Spectre ended up being a really good pick as a result.
Mhm.
Their draft has a lot of control, a lot of solid crowd control, silence, stuns, but it's pretty light on damage, especially while Riki's kind of ramping up. And these tanky cores of Peenix pals, even a Veno who becomes deceptively tanky with all these sustain items and items that help him escape, like they just didn't have enough in the tank to properly win these engagements in the mid game, and they didn't take enough towers with Jakiro.
There were a couple moments where the rookie picked looked like, oh, they found a kill, and that's great. But it ended up actually what happened is Ricky uses both blink strikes to get a kill, and then just dies immediately afterwards, and then the fight's over.
So, I think as we get into the draft of Game 2 here, what would you prefer to see from Mochi here in their draft specifically?
Probably getting Kunkka, or at least addressing it, because they had no answer for it. And it was the first pick. That's probably the biggest thing. I think they
expect
could pick any
Kunkka to
other
be a
carry and they still
contested
win.
hero. Mochi needs to get the Weaver for themselves as well, or force Peenix pals to ban it.
10 seconds.
Alright.
They need damage dealers. Like, you drafted Jakiro 3, and you ideally want another person to hit the tower, because Jakiro will deal a decent amount to the tower, but if you have a second building hitter, and you're sieging while slowing the tower's attack speed, you can get a lot done on the map. But he was kind of their only source of building damage. Yeah, they just banned Kunkka because they're their first pick, so they don't want to take Kunkka on 5, but ideally they're not going to probably get it if they wait till 8 pick.
Nope.
So they're just going to ban it because honestly that hero is quite problematic, I would say. He's so tanky. He doesn't really lose lane. He farms a lot early game, and he deals a lot of damage and crowd control. You need a lot to address him. They're gonna take Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're gonna take Night Stalker instead of Weaver, knowing that Night Stalker is a pretty solid answer. And I think they've played this as a 1 before even. Oh, let's take a look.
I'm a big fan of the Night Stalker Paz 1. His talents are way too good. He just does so much damage. And when he has that that farm priority, he will be getting those talents. And he doesn't even necessarily need to get like a farming item like a Midas or something along those lines. He can just play with this team because he's a great team fighter.
They've flexed this across multiple positions. They've played it 1. They've played it 3. It seems like both guys are very comfortable with it. And this hero's pretty freaking nice. And they're just going to take Weaver for themselves.
Weaver into Night Stalker. That is definitely interesting.
This is, see, they're so scared of Mochi's Weaver, they're not going to give them that hero.
So, at least once Weaver has Ags, he can play further away and save people that get gone on by Night Stalker, but getting to that point could be very, very hard.
I'd like to see them pick a beefy core that doesn't care that much about Night Stalker right now. Because, to me, this hero's scary when he's running at your backline killing people, but if you have tanky heroes that can kind of ball up... Yeah, Necro would be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Curious what they will pick. They banned Tree and Protector as well.
I'm not sure why they banned out Necro when the Kunkka was already banned out, because in my mind, when they banned Necro earlier, that was the setup for this first pick Kunkka.
Yeah, I mean, that's one hero who can definitely cause issues for a Kunkka.
Dire's turn to pick.
They pick Luna.
Okay.
So
a
this
hero
is
that isn't
interesting.
completely neutered at nighttime, I guess.
Yeah, I think the idea is you're giving your team night vision, right? So you can
Mhm.
see Night Stalker better when he's coming at you. If Night Stalker makes it nighttime, you by extension are stronger.
10 seconds
The
remain. It is
interesting
time
counterplay
to
is vice versa. If you activating your Eclipse, you're making Night
Yeah.
Stalker strong even if it's a daytime fight. So
Also,
curious.
Luna's very, very strong in conjunction with Night Stalker, so they may have been wanting to prevent any kind of synergy in that regard.
Yeah, that's quite true. Both heroes
10
just make it
seconds.
night most of the game and amplify each other's strengths. And they take Jakiro.
5
I'm curious where they put this Jakiro, because it seems like they most likely already have their offlaner, and I don't think they want to run back that strategy, so it'll probably be a support, either Tornado or Flydom, taking it this time. Hoping to accomplish what they kind of failed last game, take some buildings, make Luna's farming more difficult, because to me part of the problem last time is Spectre and Kunkka just farmed and they had like virtually all the map that they needed to accomplish that. So if Jakiro can get off the ground here, they can make life difficult.
Interesting that they ban out Puck. Now, you would think that like Puck is good against Night Stalker because you just coil him and he has to sit there, but in reality, like Night Stalker finds a way to get on top of Puck. Puck just dies. There's no
Every
real
time.
counterplay. Yeah.
I think Puck does have a difficult time against that AoE silence of Night Stalker, but I do think Soralella is a very good Puck player, and also kind of just complements what Peenix Palace is lacking. Some catch, some team fight, pretty, self-sustaining mid laner that can get some farm, push out the waves. They're kind of lacking deep push right now, and Puck's one of the best at that with the Illusory Orb. So I don't mind that ban.
I also dig the Batrider ban because this is a hero that's naturally gonna be fast, and Night Stalker is not gonna have the best time applying damage directly to Batrider. And this hero also just rushes a BKB, so he'll just run away from Night Stalker fairly effectively. Grid makes sense too. Night Stalker's all single target get damage. He does nothing to Azu.
10 seconds remain.
Yeah, that is quite true. We could see Peenix Pals go for a summons type of hero like Beastmaster. Go for Clockwork again. It worked out nicely last time, providing vision, setting up for some nice ganks.
It's really good against Jakiro. He's not going to be able to use like half of his spells because he's just going to get battery assaulted. But
these heroes like Jakiro and Earthshaker are tough against Clockwork, battery assault.
Yeah. I also don't really like Clockwork against Night Stalker because you're never going to be utilized cogs against him except as a... I think it will still push back if you hookshot and then back off, use power cogs, even if has his ult ongoing.
Yeah. But again,
maybe.
I think it's a nice solid support duo. Like, Clock's just bringing the disable, some damage, some crowd control, a bit of damage. Weaver's just going to be zooming around mobile, providing some vision of his own, potentially a nag save later on, so overall sturdy.
We're mentioning this Weaver and Clockwork as a support duo. Are we certain that they're not going to flex this Luna anywhere? Because they have first picked E-Rock this Weaver first. So I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on, like, are these two heroes locked in as a support, or do you see them playing this Luna as a 4 or something like that?
Oh man, I think that'd be too funky for me.
I don't think you can play Luna as a 4 with those heroes. Unless the Weaver is the pos one, and I don't think you want to pos one Weaver against a Night Stalker.
Yeah, I think that Weaver's already just a bit too countered, and they already showed that they seem to like these two at least as a duo. I think it's a comfort pick for E-Rock and fits this style of carries that they usually pick for him. So it'll probably be a Luna.
So if this is possibly Jakiro, I much like this support pairing with it of Snapfire, because Rubik just kind of fade bolts someone. Snapfire brings slow that stacks really nicely with what Jakiro wants to do. Cookie to chase people down. Armor Shred. It's just gonna do way more in lane with the Jakiro than a Ribbit could ever hope to be. And it's also a hero that can help against this Clockwork Menace.
I like this Snapfire pick for multiple reasons, like you just said. It is the solution to the Clockwork, cooking people out. It pairs nicely with what Jakiro generally wants to do as a whole, which is ball up as a team and push towers. You're providing the little shredder, so your team is, and the creeps are applying more damage. And also, Night Stalker provides a lot of
Ooh.
vision and runs in, and Snapfire can deal a lot of damage from long range once with Night Stalker sort of terrorizing the back. So, and
Once
then
you
they
get
go for
that,
PA.
PA is interesting. It's kind of like the same idea of Ricky, like, oh, you can just blink out of cogs. You can, there isn't too much stun, so you can just move around. But PA has a lot more liberty to do so than I think Ricky does.
I think PA is a splendid pick here. You don't have a lot of reliable ways to control her this game. You don't have a great way to pressure her and stop her from farming early yet either. And Luna versus PA matchup.
Yeah, tell me, what do you think about that?
I think it can be very tough for Luna because you're a relatively squishy ranged hero, and if PA gets on top of you, let's say it's difficult to itemize to deal with Phantom Assassin.
Can you elaborate a little more? Why you think it's difficult to itemize against a PA?
Because you need to tank up so you don't die to crits.
So you
While at the same time
don't rush an MKB is what you're saying.
Well, you eventually want an MKB or a Silver Edge, but at the same time, you need to tank up and get armor. So it can be tough matchup for sure. Plus, Phantom Assassin can buy that Fan of Knives and break Luna and disable both of her passives, which is basically the two main things that make her scary one position. They're just going for Doom.
It's a nice answer for PA. I'm worried that Doom can get run over with Snapfire PA combo.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a
but it
bit
may
sus
not
by
even
this
matter.
pick.
But it's still like the condition to win the game is just Doom PA, and PA isn't really a hero that wants to get a Lincolns or anything like that. But she does have tools, like you can blur when you see Doom running in and limit his ability to really do so. It's hard.
I agree with you, but to me the problem with PA is you need...
She can also just kill people while she's doomed.
She can kill people while doomed. To me, I don't see a way that they're gonna stop PA from getting to the items that she needs. This Doom hero, yeah, you can click her with an ult and it makes her life hard, but at the end of the day, and see, now they pick this hero that they don't really have proper control for if you're going to be dooming PA. This Queen of Pain is just going to be able to blink around the fight. This hero is amazing right now, by the way. This hero is super good.
It is another hero that is vulnerable to Doom, but she can definitely afford to just go like Kaya, Sange, Lincolns.
Yeah, like she loves buying those kinds of items. So if they're not dooming Quap, I feel like she's going to have a pretty free game now, unless there's some crazy last pick I'm not seeing for their off lane here.
So another thing I'm worried about is that earlier the clock work off lane worked well because I had a ranged hero in this lane. Instead you have Clockwork at Doom, which don't really apply any pressure. So I think this Weaver is going to be a pos 4 instead of a pos 5. I'm also not too sure how well the Clockwork is going to fare against Night Stalker Jakiro.
Oh.
Another last pick, 24 Jakiro, or Spirit Breaker.
It's an offlane Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
So it's a mid Doom.
Mid Doom offlane Spirit Breaker, huh? Man, oh man. I feel
they're
like
still trying to figure out if that's
Peenix...
going to be 5 or 4 Weaver.
I feel like Peenix has the same problem that Mochi had earlier, where they're not going to stop these cores from getting off the ground, and they're kind of lacking damage for them. I'm worried that Queen of Pain is going to get a Kaya Sange plus 1 more defensive item like BKB or Lincoln's, and probably not BKB, probably Lincoln's this game, but and just like they're going to be having a pretty free time. I'm going Mochi game 2. I like their draft. Their draft's more well-rounded to me.
Yeah, a lot of why Peenix Palace looks really dominant game 1 is they had a mid that was very much tempo setting. This is a mid that's very, very passive for way
Farm
too
oriented.
long. Yeah. It's gonna have an impact, but maybe the impact comes too late. So I'm gonna go with Mochi this one.
All right, well, our draft panelists have given you all the breakdown here. We have, again, on Team Mochi, we have Poggers here on the Night Stalkers, the Apollos 3, Flydom, Jakiro going 5, Tornado, they're 4 on Snapfire, Spanky on the PA, Han on the Quap, got Jotun on Weaver, Erock Luna, Werewood Clockwork, Sora on the Doom, and Hungry Phoenix on Spirit Breaker. Very, very exciting draft, and we have game 2 coming very, very soon. Can Mochi strike back against Peenix Palace, even out the series, or will Peenix actually gain the upper hand, which I don't think most people saw coming? People have said Mochi in 3, Mochi in 4, not many saying Peenix in 3, Peenix in 4, so let's see if they're able to actually show their strength here in these grand finals as we get into game 2. And again, I am joined by my wonderful analyst and part-time every caster, Pip. How's it going, Pip?
Licky, I'm doing great. Do you want to set off a fire in your building before we start, or?
Oh man,
No,
dude.
I'll wait. No, it's fine. No,
Yeah,
I'll wait.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Let me go burn something.
Just go for it. Just go pop a gobstopper in the microwave.
Sure
Isn't that
thing.
a thing? Or
I don't know.
Jawbreaker or something like that.
I'm not much of a pyromaniac myself, but someone in my building clearly is.
Talk to any boomer and they will tell you how to blow up your house in a microwave, and it's something to do with jawbreakers, I think.
I know if you put like an egg in the microwave, it explodes, but I don't think it sets off any like fire.
I'm gonna try that later today. All right, and we're back into the game. And so we actually have, again, pretty cool drafts, but this time around Team Mochi is taking a much more conservative approach. Now the Night Stalker offlane is slightly greedy, but every other area of their team is fairly conservative. They're definitely playing to win for this game. And now on the other end of the aisle, Peenix kind of has this draft that is, so I got to admit, it's a pretty Chad move. They're basically taking these very greedy drafts, saying like, "There's no way you guys can win the game before we start, destroying you." I think the PA, if the PA has a great start, can absolutely blow up the Luna, which is an essential damage dealer on Peenix. But in the same token, if Doom has a decent start in the mid lane, PA is never going to see anything anywhere.
Yeah.
I thought the Spirit Breaker was a really creative pick because that's going to be, it's great against Night Stalker because it's like a non-caster, super tanky thing that can kind of like, is one of the only heroes that can stand in Night Stalker's crippling fear during nighttime and man up to him, which is really, really cool. And then he also has the ability to go Silver Edge or Ag Shard to completely, shut down the Phantom Assassin. It's BKB piercing as well. Spell immunity piercing. So I think that was a really, really great pick. However, there are a lot of holes in Phoenix's draft. I think that they probably have the weaker draft generally, but if they play the game like they played the last game, they might be absolutely fine. So looks like Weaver is actually getting a little bit of a harassment in the top lane.
Yeah, Jotun, again, never seems to be able to escape this Jakiro, no matter what lane they're playing in, unfortunately. But I think we're going to see a lot more, an active first 10 minutes here, I feel like, especially for these side lanes. I think, obviously, nighttime's going to be the biggest spike for this bottom lane with the Night Stalker, but I mean, you've got this Clockwork and Snapfire, very aggro supports, you've got this Jakiro, honestly, one of the most annoying supports, I think, to lane against. Just damage upon damage upon damage. The Weaver, of course, actually playing top here. They, despite the fact that Werewood's usually like the 4, the Clockwork is playing bottom with the Luna here.
I think the reason that is because I think a Weaver Luna lane is like
horrendous.
They have nothing. They just have nothing, right? But in that same breath, we have Clockwork who likes doing things, and then Spirit Breaker who likes doing things. That would be the strongest lane of the entire team, right? So I was basically going to say, like, the playmakers are very limited on the side of Peenix. Now, this wasn't really a problem in the last game, but now it's limited to like, I feel like the entire weight of the mid game. It's not even just initiating. It's dealing damage. It's like, getting pickoffs. It's everything pretty much. All of that weight is on Spirit Breaker and Clock. no other hero on their team wants to do a single thing this game. Look at Doom. Doom has Midas on his hotbar. He doesn't want to play this game, right? So I think the story of this game is Mochi able to create a big enough lead and transition that lead into a one game? And now if they're not able to do that, I think scaling is going to be crazy. Obviously, late game PA is frightening, right? But we also have late game Doom, we have late game Weaver, late game Luna, which is going to be, awesome as well. So I think that's going to be the story of the game.
Even late game Clockwork, I feel like this hero is like super strong early game and then just like disappears off a cliff, just gone. Except for like the BKB piercing hookshot, but then like comes back online when you get Ags. Like the amount of control you get is ridiculous for late game.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Peenix's draft, they have all BKB piercing, like literally everything. So I don't want to see a single BKB on the side of Mochi. Like, they got Spear Breaker, Weaver's not gonna really do anything. They have Clockwork, they have Doom, like, come on. I guess BKB for Luna makes sense, but at the same time, that's like the only thing that they're gonna guard from.
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, Sanj's just status resistance, I think, is gonna be the most important item for Mochi to pick up here. Like, making sure you're not getting chain stunned by the Spirit Breaker, or like a Yules to keep the Spirit Breaker from stunning people. Like, things like that are gonna be super valuable. Like, I'd expect to see a Halberd out here from the Night Stalker. I mean, they already talked about it in draft, but I expect Han on this crop to 100% buy a Sanj Kaya this game, and then get a Linken's later on. I think it's an amazing Linken's game with both the Doom and the Spirit Breaker being in. Obviously, there's ways to pop it, but it has to be committed. Like, you have to commit a charge, or you have to like buy a Halberd or something else to break that Linken's.
Yeah, and I'll even do you one better. I'm going to take a very radical take here. I think that if it gets to the point in the game where Quap buys the Linken's, then they missed a prime opportunity of winning. I think PA should go mega aggro, like go like straight Deso, something like that. And I think they can absolutely run over Team Peenix. So by the time Quap has the Sanj Kaya, or whatever item she chooses to go first, I think Kaya Sanj sounds absolutely fine to me. By the time she gets that, they should already be winning the game. That's my hot take here. Will it happen? I don't know. But if I were playing their draft, that's what I would shoot for.
Yeah, I think they have like incredibly like potent timing right here. Down bottom, E-Rock's gonna get harassed up a little bit. I mean, it literally just turned nighttime and they're already starting the aggression down bottom. Nice plays from Mochi, but I think your point is exactly right. I don't think they'll win at the exact timing, because I think Han can get a pretty quick Sanj Kaya. I think he might just go not Orchid, sorry, Linken's directly after. And speaking of which, he's actually coming into the bottom lane, and he's gonna blink in and kill off E-Rock, potentially going for Werewood as well. Werewood's just gonna TP out, no other stuns available. Oh, Void just came up in time. Now Han, is he gonna commit the ult? Sonic Wave? Ooh.
And they have a Catapult Wave coming soon. Honestly, so I mean, obviously if you're Queen, you want to go back mid at this point, but if he's not going back mid, they could create a push, and Luna can't come back into the Queen, but that's a little too aggro, and also you'll lose a lot of farm, and also there's a Catapult mid, so maybe not too great.
Luna doesn't even want to go back. E-Rock is walking and going to jungle. Actually went 2 points in Lucent Beam, which seems a little odd for someone I think who should have expected to go jungle pretty early on.
I think that was a huge misplay. Like, just looking at the enemy team, like honestly, blindfold me. Just read me the heroes, and I could say, yeah, Luna, you're gonna not want to be in that lane at all this game. And so you're right. The points on Lucent Beam doesn't really convey that. But at the same time, I have to commend Luna for looking at this lane and saying, if I go back to that lane, I'm just going to be straight feeding, and going to jungle. So that actually takes, a fair amount of, what's the word here, Licky? Nah, a fair amount of, it's a very conservative play. So these guys are definitely playing to win. So I like seeing that.
It is nice. It looks like Werewood's gonna be the one to stop this push bottom, but they've already got like 75% of this tower going down thanks to the what is this called, Lil Shredder, plus the Sea Treep, and they're doing a nice job of keeping it alive. Until now, as I say that, it's finally gonna go down.
Until now, and they completely blundered and the game was over.
But
now they should be able to get this tower regardless, and also
Yeah.
Clockwork is a little bit in a weird position here.
He does have a TP, but we've already proven that the TP is not a get out of jail free card against both of these heroes, both with stuns. And I mean, this Void is on a 9-second cooldown right now, so you have to use it very smartly.
Yep, and so the Doom is actually getting a lot out of the mid lane. He already has his Midas, which is surprising to me, and also out-leveling Queen of Pain.
He's
And now they're gonna
invis right now. He could just Doom Han right here. Yeah,
Oh
that's a
my
dead
gosh.
quap. That's a very good use of the invis rune, and great move from Jotun. And this amazing ward, which he put like 3 minutes ago, he Shikuchi'd all the way over here and put this up, and it's paying very nice dividends for them.
So yeah, if the Doom plays like this the entire game, then you know I might retract my statement before saying the game is completely on the Spirit Breaker and maybe the clock. However, I think if he didn't go Midas and instead, let's say, went Drums, Blink, or maybe even straight Blink or something like that, then that would be more apparent. Because if you're going Midas and planning to gank, the
Oh,
two things don't
Sorella
necessarily
gonna
fit.
get ganked mid. Night Stalker's gonna pop the ult. Ooh, has a haste rune though, so nope, the cookie as well. They're gonna pop the
Oh.
Sonic Wave. Han's gonna get the return kill here.
Clockwork.
There's a charge coming down here. Werewood might be in a bit of trouble. Hungry Phoenix gonna go in, gonna get the Nether Strike onto Poggers right here. Ice Path gonna stun him up for a little bit longer, but he does have that Bulldoze available. Can they take out this Night Stalker in time? They are gonna get the bugs on him. They need just one more hit. One more. Han's gonna get a double kill onto Werewood, and it looks like Poggers able to get away in time, so they lose no heroes here on Mochi for the price of 2.
Yeah, honestly, both carries on both teams just did not want to show up to that at all. But let's look at bottom lane. Luna's like low, like kind of not in the greatest place, and PA is just kind of like freely farming. PA is actually going Battle Fury here. This is something I might have hesitated to do, considering how greedy the other team is versus how, you know, aggressive your team is. I might have wanted to go something a little bit more early game oriented, maybe something like, I don't know, Falcon Blade Deso or something, like Tread's Falcon Blade Deso, something a little bit more early oriented, just so you can kind of like move with your team and take objectives earlier. Now, Battle Fury, you know, you get it at around what, 13 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if you get it in less time, then that's even better. But you get it around 13 minutes, then you farm your items, and then you become active. It might work out fine, and honestly, it's not that bad. But yeah, I just hope that they don't concede too much time to Peenix to get their items.
Yeah, I don't think Battle Fury is like the optimal way to go, but so far Spanky's been pretty uncontested here. Got a decent amount of CS. Is actually a little bit behind this Luna that got kicked out of lane, but of course this hero farms much faster with that inbuilt jungling mechanic, so I think Erock should be in a better place now that he has the freedom to wander through the jungle.
Yeah, we do have Dark Ascension coming up in 15 seconds, and Luna is danger close to the Night Stalker, and we have Snapfire coming bot lane. It looks like
think
some
they
sort of
know.
play is gonna happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
Luna's
Luna TP's out.
immediately
Great.
TPing.
Woo! Great game awareness. Going to the top lane to utilize this catapult. Man, I gotta say it again. I feel like Peenix have such great map movements in the early game, and I cannot commend it enough. You can see Immortal games where they have like less map
Oh,
awareness.
charge,
They're going onto
Nether
the top
Strike.
lane.
They're gonna get the Doom off onto Spanky as well. There's a massive rotation coming out. PA's just gonna try and turn and fight, maybe get a few lucky crits off in time. Can they get the deny off in time? They're actually just gonna kill Sora. PA just might live through this. Yeah, I think she's okay.
Yeah, she should be fine.
That's
But
a
this is-
massive committal for nothing. And now, Poggers actually running down Erock. The Luna, who TP'd up here, is in a bit of trouble. Gonna pop a Lucent Beam. Nice silence to prevent the Clockwork from using any spells here. But now Werewood gonna use the hookshot to lock down this Night Stalker. Ult gonna be done quite soon. Is Han willing to commit further? It looks like Hungry Phoenix is gonna charge through onto the Night Stalker right here. There is no Nether Strike, so they will have to back away.
It's just every time I'm watching Peenix in both of these games play, they just look so good compared to Mochi. And the reason why is you saw 5 heroes commit to that fight in the top lane for Mochi when that isn't really that's not what you want to do. You don't want to commit 5 heroes every time you see anything happen on the map because you're conceding space to the enemy team. Meanwhile, Peenix just very, very calmly, you know, they committed 3 heroes on the top, and I would say that the push onto top and the engagement onto top was optimistic at best, considering how weak they are against Mochi. But the rest of the heroes on Peenix, they're just kind of like taking it easy, farming, and playing the map in a way that they're creating pressure and forcing these responses, which effectively slows Mochi down. So I gotta say that they're playing this game so well. Like I was saying before that in a lot of Immortal games you don't see them playing the map with such fluidity, I should say. We see a charge coming out to mid. I don't know if they're gonna do much with this though.
I mean, that's the thing. Both teams have these like 2 large timers on each of their heroes. There's the Doom and then there's the Dark Ascension, and they're both kind of like playing around this. And then the rest of the heroes are relatively like low. Like Sonic Wave, obviously, kind of a large cooldown, but not compared to either of those 2 spells. So they have to like play around the long cooldowns and also these short cooldowns. And it feels like, I don't know. Even, I think the games I've seen with Mochi, and Han actually gonna get caught up top, gonna get charged as well. Do they have the Nether Strike? They're not gonna commit it as they see a TP. They actually maybe could have gotten the kill, but they're not gonna commit.
And honestly, that's fine. If they get nothing out of that, that's totally fine. They forced 2 TPs. Queen of Pain's not really in a place in the map that she wants to be, and now the entire team of Team Mochi is split up, and they're not gonna have much to do. Now, Phantom Assassin has enough for her Battle Fury. I think it's a little bit late, because if you're going just boots straight Battle Fury, I think you should be able to get it around 12 or 13 minutes. And if you go Treads Battle Fury, it should be around 14. So it's only a little bit late, but honestly, not that bad. And now we should be seeing items kind of getting grinded out from the PA. Hopefully she's moving with her team when she starts picking up items. Maybe once when she gets her Deso, and a lot more when it's Deso BKB, something along those lines. Or she can even go a more aggressive route, which is just getting like, you know, straight BKB damage, or straight, what's the word? Basher and going damage like that. But I actually said earlier in the game, BKB might not even be the item for PA this game. So I'd be fine with her not going BKB and maybe going a more stat reliant item, maybe Sanjin Yasha. I'd be absolutely fine with that.
I mean, I think when you're against these heroes like the Spirit Breaker and the Doom, I think that a lot of times you are going to get chunked down. I think you want to go for something more like an SNY Satanic kind of build, or even, I don't know about like Scotty, but I think you want to like tank up with the Reaver or something like that.
Yes.
Like, I played with this Jug player once, and they were against a very like high damage lineup and just wanted to run on him. And he went Echo Saber SNY, and I was like, this is weird. But it worked, because Jug suddenly has like 3k HP, when usually he has like 1,800, and he's just unkillable with Healing Ward. And I think PA has to do the same kind of concept over here. To survive in this game. They have smoked up on
I totally
Peenix.
agree with that. I totally agree with that. Just look at the all the damage sources on the side of Peenix. It's totally on Luna, right? And Luna is not having a great start and might not even really want to participate with her team. They're
Luna's
closing
about
in
to
on
get
Luna.
jumped. She just got pincered right here, and now Irok running into the can't TP out in time. They're gonna pop the Mortimer's Kiss as well, but Hungry Phoenix gonna charge through. Maybe gonna keep this Luna alive for a little bit longer, but Irok will fall. But now the rest of Peenix pals charging in from the other side. They're gonna lose their Spirit Breaker, so maybe they've arrived a little too late. Jotun now hookshot off the mark. They're turning on Thunder Tornado right here. Han's actually caught by the bug, so Doom was hunting him down, and now the supports are gonna be the sacrifice here for Mochi for the price of the 2 cores. If they can even catch Flat On, they do. Poggers looking for someone, but I don't think this is your play. I think you need to get everyone out in time, and you're totally okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I feel like taking that fight. Honestly, they got away with murder there by like doing a half commitment on the side of Peenix. But just looking at the other team, you don't want to take any fights into that team right now, especially when they're taking the fights in the trees with Dark Ascension active. Nighttime. You know, it just felt really weird, and honestly they might have been able to be punished more in that fight, but at least honestly they the Luna died. They got away with murder by doing like a half committal, so I think they're pretty happy with that, but they have to learn how to
charge on the Night
fights.
Stalker, crippling fear as well, so that prevents any follow-up. Sora's actually in the backline with this Arcane Rune BKB looking for someone. with the Clockwork. This is potentially really cool. Hungry Phoenix now gonna get gone on, has a charge up in 1 second. Can he get it off in time? The hook shot comes through. Hungry Phoenix needs to get a spell if he can get the Nether Strike off onto the PA right here. The Micro Power dropping as well. Doom gonna go out off into the PA. Sora gonna pop that BKB, and now they're gonna lose Werewood as well. They get the PA for their troubles right here. Sora now just gonna BKB TP away. Should be home free. And Jotun the Weaver, I don't think he's gonna get caught here. Yeah.
And so this is a very educational moment. So you have this team that has, you know, what, 2.5 farmers on the side of Peenix. And you have a hero like Spirit Breaker and Clockwork that want to fight all the time. The decision to fight on bottom was objectively bad. Obviously, they got the PA. That's totally fine. Honestly, that's more than I would have ever expected from that sort of play. So they did good there. However, you have these heroes that want to fight, and then a whole bunch of other heroes that do not want to fight. And so taking these engagements just feels awkward because Doom wants to get one more item. He wants to get one more item before he's before he's fighting, and the Luna doesn't want to attend until she gets, you know, X amount of items as well. And meanwhile, you're stuck in this weird limbo space as Spirit Breaker and Clockwork where you want to use your abilities because that's what you pick the hero to do, but you can't. And so it leads to these awkward scenarios where they're taking these charges, which would be really good in a standard game because you'd have people who are able to follow up on it. But in a game like this, you know, they just end up losing.
Doom mid, gonna have to pop this BKB out here from Sora. Still taking quite a bit of damage from the physical of the Night Stalker. Now Spanky jumping in. Oh, Sonic Wave only gonna hit off onto the Weaver right here. Now E-Rock in the backline is gonna get caught by that Ice Path. Power's now just looking to take out the tower, but Hungry Phoenix charging through. Has the ult available. Gonna Nether Strike onto this. Ooh, the cookie bringing the Night Stalker away. Will he actually get out in time? Werewood not able to get the kill. The Urn Tick is probably not going to take this Night Stalker down. He has a salve as well, just dug up by Tornado. Oh my god, and still giving immense vision over this area right here. Phoenix, though, charging in. Another silence coming out. Sora does have Doom available, so Mochi has to be a little bit careful. Han actually blinking in. Oh my god, Doom should go out onto this Quap right here. But they are losing Phoenix on the other side unless he can walk away in time. Ooh, the last hit from Tornado. If they get the kill, E-Rock gonna pop the Eclipse. Spanky now just trying to fight. Gets the big crit onto the Luna, able to take him out. Dying to the tick of the Doom, though. Sora, BKB-less. Jotun going into the backline looking for the Night Stalker. The speedy hero caught by the root here. Has a Q up in 1. Got the bugs on him as well, so he's not gonna be able to escape in time. This pause 5 Weaver plus the Doom. Shredding Mochi apart.
And with that fight, just so much momentum lost on Mochi. I would say that they should win all these fights like what, 10 out of 10 times? 9 out of 10 times? And I would say like 9 or 10 out of 10 times as well. The Luna and Doom don't want to really be fighting at this time in the game anyway. You can't, well, maybe Doom if you're going like the Drums Blink build I was talking about before. But it just the fact that they can win that fight with such a greedy team comp, it just speaks volumes to their skill level. Just watching these two teams operate, it feels like night and day. Personally, to me, I personally think that Peenix is doing a fantastic job moving around the map generally, and all of the movements from Mochi are generally committing too many heroes and at awkward times as well. Like that last fight that they just took, it's like 19 minutes, and the PA only has Battle Fury. PA doesn't really want to fight. If you're going Battle Fury, you want to get 1 or 2 more items before you start engaging. Let's even just say 1. Let's be super liberal with our estimate. You don't want to be fighting with your team, so it just feels like night and day. But with that said, it looks like they're going to do a 4-man smoke on a bot trying to get this Spirit Breaker.
Ganking a Spirit Breaker, which seems like a difficult hero to gank, especially since he has Charge and Bulldoze available to him. Yeah, they're gonna back away.
And just look at that. Spirit Breaker just smelled something fishy, and he just backed up, and this entire gank, which they desperately need, which Mochi desperately needs to stay in this game, just falls flat. So that was great from Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and I mean, E-Rock was pushing top that entire time, and now that Mochi leaves the bottom area, E-Rock is now bottom, just farming up. They do have a ward down here, so they will potentially spot the Luna. Also, talking about E-Rock, decided to go for the Chrysalis build very quickly. Has not picked up the Shard, though, just yet. I don't know if he's going for straight the BKB or wants to split that up and get the Shard, but is going for a very fight-oriented Luna build rather than a more farming type build like the PA did.
Right, it's like complete opposite because you don't want the PA to do that, right? But and honestly, I just I don't want to seem like I'm too weighted on Peenix. I personally don't know any of them, but just the fact that um, that's such good game recognition, like knowing that okay, we're definitely going to encounter
Oh,
fights.
charge Doom onto Spanky right here. He's gonna commit the Nether Strike as well. Netted up, this PA is going nowhere except the grave. Down goes Spanky. Very nice gank. This ward that they placed so long ago. Oh my god, dude, the wards from Peenix. I'm loving it so much. These deep wards giving great vision.
And honestly, so
Oh,
I have to say,
another
oh my
potential.
God, they're going in.
Wherewood? Okay, maybe this is a little too deep, my man.
Little, little too much, huh?
But the ward expires. That's the thing. Mochi thinks, like, oh, they're like, oh god, there's a ward there now, we have to scout it out. It's gone already. They got it on literally, like, they used the last 15 seconds of that ward to create such a good play there.
And so typically in this game, regarding these, like, hyper-aggressive wards, are they cool ward spots? Yeah, absolutely. But in this type of game, when they have so many farmers, and they're kind of playing around item timings and Roche, they shouldn't be poised so aggressively. But because they're winning, it's totally fine, right? But yeah, we have the Blink Dagger on Doom. He's closing in on the Shivas, which actually the vision for Night Stalker is pretty darn good. And it's also pretty good against PA, although the Doom is already the counter to PA this game.
Yeah,
But it looks like they're looking for a fight. Dark Ascension is up.
they're not using it though just yet. I mean, they saw some of those heroes. They're also leading with the Night Stalker during daytime, which is potentially one of the worst heroes to lead with because of his atrocious vision.
And I have to say it again, Licky. Just look at how the map is being played. Like Dire, 5 heroes all grouped together, not really anything happening. Doom farming bot, Doom creating pressure bot, pressure being created mid, Luna farming. You know, it's just like so much of the map is being conceded to Peenix. So I have to say it every time I see it because it hurts every time I see it.
I mean, I think it's valid to point out. I mean, we played Mochi in a scrim, and we watched back those games, and I think this same thing that happened then. And it seems like Peenix Pals losing to them 2-0 in the winter brackets final. They've figured it out. I think they've figured out the recipe for success here, potentially. Of course, this is just game 2, but they're doing a really good job of moving around the map.
They're doing a great job playing around the map. So whoever's doing these shot calls, whether it's just fluid or what, looks like they might find the Doom here. But whether it's just kind of like their movements, are they able to catch him? Doom is really fast. They cannot catch him, and Dark Ascension is committed.
This Night Stalker is really poor, like no Blink Dagger, nothing at all. He's barely been farming. I mean, this Night Stalker hero is one that has to farm. They're gonna have Hungry Phoenix. Actually, I lied. He just BKB charges. Wait, he goes in. He's crazy. He's going for the Doom. Onto the... Oh my god, the double hook shot in as well. Plus the cogs, keeping them all away. They're gonna lose Han here. An amazing catch here, but now Werewood might be in a little bit of trouble. They've lost Peenix as well. Sora now out of the BKB. Caught by the bullwhip as well. Spanky jumping in. Gets the crit. Triple kill for Spanky. Potentially Roche. I would love to see them transition this to another objective. Maybe they get the Luna though. Do they have vision? They spotted the Luna for like 1 second. They are splitting up a little and it looks like they're committing for the Weaver instead. Jotun gonna get spotted out. Time lapse up to the high ground. Oh my god, this dude. He's breaking ankles, caught by the Ice Path though, so it looks like he might finally go down.
And so if they're getting Roche off of this is exactly what they need to get back into the game. Don't let the scoreboard fool you. I was very scared for Team Mochi for a large portion in the last 5 minutes, but they finally get this. They have the recognition to go say, okay, it's time to Roche. They have no abilities. They have nothing. So that's really, really great. And we saw Peenix. Although they're doing good at this portion of the game, they're winning fights that they should not be able to win. Their heroes are not at the points that they are strongest yet. And that's why that fight went that way, I believe. We still need the item on Weaver, I believe, for the Weaver to feel strong. We still maybe need one more item on Spirit Breaker. We still need this item, which actually Doom was super close to. And maybe that Axe Shard on Luna. It looks like she forgot about the Axe Shard, but I feel like it might be pretty good this game.
Yeah,
but
I think...
Silver Edge? No, you don't need Silver Edge. And the reason why, Luna, is because
Spirit Breaker exists.
The reason why is Doom. Because you already have your counter, I guess. Maybe she's preparing for later in the game. Which honestly, I'm fine with that because their team is like more late game oriented. So if she's planning for later in the game, then that's fine.
I don't know, I feel like Luna just goes other stuff, because Spiritbreaker will get Silver Edge. Spiritbreaker already has Shard. Doom can go Ags for a break.
Honestly,
right now, he's been dooming the Quap, and Quap's actually not going Lincoln, it's going BKB, so you're gonna be dooming the Quap for free for like an extra like 15 plus minutes here. I think I don't think the Luna has to itemize for that Silver Edge here, because this feels like a really, despite the fact that the Luna's like a K ahead of this PA, the Luna feels kind of poor. In terms of like just
Definitely.
the items that are available. Oh, Doom. Are they
Doom
gonna
is
catch Sora? Oh my god, Sora does not
place.
notice. They don't notice. Okay, they finally figured out that the Doom is here. Blink's gonna get cancelled. BKB probably gonna have to be used unless, no.
Wow.
Bugs.
No commitment. Just, I gotta say, like, all these 5-man rotations, do not commit 5-man Mochi, please. It's just the entire rest of the map, pressure top, pressure mid, is being punished at every point in this game. Even though they're getting the tier 2 tower, even though they're pulling ahead with this Aegis, the map is being played like a fiddle. And I want to know personally who it is on Peenix that is doing it. I want to meet them.
Well, we're definitely going to be interviewing both teams after this, so we'll find out. E-Rock, oh, they're going to pop the NS ult. E-Rock has a BKB though, he might just, okay, wow, that's some interesting spell committal. They are going to TP the Luna out, which means the rest of the team needs to get out in time. Sora has to blink away. Yeah.
5 heroes top now. Was that necessary? Let's think. I think they could have just went to high ground. Maybe that might be a little bit too aggro, and I didn't get the full scope. But if they're pushing top for a tier 2 and you're at high ground, I think your push is stronger, and you have Aegis too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah.
They had a DD on the Quap, so I think they could have definitely poked a little
yeah.
bit just to force Peenix back.
Just to
I
force
believe.
them back and maybe split them up, which would be fine. But yeah, so just speaking of, one more sentence on this Silver Edge is that the problem of PA has already been solved this game. With the Doom, so you don't have to. The only reason you would go Silver Edge is if you don't have faith in Doom to doom the target, and maybe like Doom is going on the Quap sometimes. And in that case, sure. Or you're itemizing for much later in the game, which, like I said, if you have that kind of foresight, saying like, okay, there's going to be Lincolns on PA, Doom might not be an option, I have to itemize, then fine. But I'm not sure. Looks like Night Stalker is going to be bottom. They're not going to do too much more, and you'll see. So now they're a little bit split up, not going as 5 heroes as much anymore. But I really dislike when cores are in the same place farming. So you see PA and Queen of Pain, and you also saw it on the on the other side of the map, Luna and Doom were in the same place as well. It's generally like super inefficient. And if you're playing the map well, you're creating pressure in different areas safely, while at the same time not overlapping farming patterns. So just one observation here. But we do have Ags on Weaver, so that's going to be really huge. And honestly, I honestly think that Peenix is pretty strong right now. If they wait out this Aegis, which, by the way, is successful because 30 seconds left on Aegis. If they just wait out the Aegis, I think they might have a great time in this next fight. They just have to make sure that Night Stalker isn't playing them too hard with the Vision game. They have to take that fight with Vision, and I think they'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think Mochi's potentially looking for a play here. They have a smoke flying out to their Jakiro, but like you said, this Aegis is almost gone. They can't make a play, and I mean, already Peenix is up here on this top side of the map, and Mochi's not close enough to start hitting high ground. It feels like they're a little further away from the objectives that they want to get at, and now that Peenix is feeling strong, they're 5-manning, and Mochi's a little split around the map, and they've sent the PA back to def. I don't know.
I mean, no Aegis. The game feels weird, huh? Yeah, it just feels awkward right now, huh?
It's just odd. I think the way that the movements are happening. I mean, I think Peenix is very much in control, and this net worth are obviously inflated by the Doom factor. But it's just getting a little scary. I mean, I think if Luna had slightly different items, it would be even more terrifying. But like this Luna still deals damage. Like the Night Stalker has kind of fallen off. Like this hero needs to keep farming to stay relevant, and right now it's just BKB Echo Saber. Like you kill. I think the Night Stalker needs to also like change target priority. Like I think you need to go for this Weaver or go for the Clockwork. I think you have to potentially trust your supports to deal with the cores. I think they're somehow
Nah, that's
better.
not possible, sir.
They're a little better suited, I think, to dealing. Of course, the BKBs. That's the problem. Once these BKBs get lower, I think they'll be able to do it. Doom also just picked up an Ags, so very, very strong. I think they're gonna smoke on
Smoke,
Mochi.
five-man smoke. Now, this is the one time in the game where five-man smoke is okay, when the other team is 5 together, not creating any pressure.
They are a little split. Poggers is gonna immediately lose their smoke. Peenix, not even waiting, BKB popping, he's gonna charge back through onto the PA right here. The charger as well breaks the PA. Oh my god, the amount of damage. Peenix is in a bit of trouble, but so is the PA. Where would the backline's gonna get the hookshot off onto Tornado?
Oh, there's Doom.
Doom off onto the PA here. It looks like, oh my god, the Ags Doom dealing so much damage. Han's gonna fall. The only one alive is Poggers TPing away on this high ground, and that is a failed smoke if I've ever seen one.
Definitely. And it's just like, so remember when I said earlier in the game, by the time Queen of Pain is eyeing her second item, if she is eyeing that second item without, like, let's say her axe, then the game is lost. Well, she has her BKB, she's, you know, she got her second item, and the game has, you know, twisted 100%. They just want to fight, got Roche, they looked very strong, but look at the items. Like, let's look at actually the GPM across the board. It's like they were out-farmed and outmaneuvered around the map. And even though they had a much stronger early game team comp, they weren't really able to transition that into a Rax at any point. And so now these Rax are falling. They could even try ending if they wanted to. A little bit risky though, especially with no Doom. But yeah, they're just gonna get a second Rax here. No Dark Ascension coming up. Nighttime in 1 minute. It looks like this next Rax might just come for free.
It's so quick. I mean, this is the thing. Even though this Luna isn't like ultra farmed, like now she has a butterfly because she just won an amazing fight. But you cannot lose a fight like anywhere close to your side of the map. Otherwise, this Luna will shred your buildings, and that literally just happened for Mochi.
Yeah, and now like. And I said, like, the fight should be good with them if they got vision. They took a pretty good fight, but I think the vision was fairly even. But yeah, they just took one fight with all their spells up, and the GPM advantage just showed. Their hero scaling showed. PA is not strong enough, does not have nearly enough items to compete. We got a battlefield at 13 minutes and only have these 2 items to show in the next 21 minutes. That's not nearly enough to stay competitive in this game.
Werewood gonna get obliterated right now, but now Erock gonna pop the BKB, gonna turn. Doom coming in as well. Got the Doom off onto the PA. He's broken, getting charged down as well. They're able to kill off 3 heroes in the span of seconds, and now they lose the Night Stalker as well. Han's the only one alive with that BKB, gonna blink away, but they do have eyes. Oh, Werewood with the hookshot plus the cog stunning up Han here. He's gonna go down with the charge as well. What a hookshot from Werewood there, and that's another full wipe. Full wipe for Peenix Pals.
That might be game. That
I
might
think
be
so.
game. They're gonna march it down mid, and this is a best of 3, right, Licky?
Best of 5.
Best of 5. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a commanding start. And honestly, like I've been saying, it looks like night and day. These movements around the map, there's a lot more knowledge and practice showing in the movements of Team Peenix here, and there's not as much showing from Mochi. Mochi looks like they have, you know, pretty decent drafts, but the execution falls a little bit flat in a few areas. Now they really got to get it together for this next game, and it looks like this game, there's no buybacks, nothing coming out. GG is called.
Yeah, none of the cores had any buybacks, and that's another really strong. I mean, this is a very decisive victory. Game 1, of course, was a little bit more of like a comeback, but
yeah, but this was a much better draft from Mochi, and I think even better play from Mochi, and still, and I would say this is maybe even a worse draft for Peenix, but still they look commanding in how they play, and it's not even the fights, it's not all the flashy stuff, it's more just how they play the map. They're applying pressure in different areas. They're being generally, there were a few exceptions, but generally pretty good in how they take fights. All the practice shows. Whoever's making these shot calls, or calling the shots, is doing a fantastic job. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that game. So that's 2 games in. I really want to see a 5-game series, Licky. I plan on being here all night, so I really hope that Mochi, comes back in a big way. Maybe throws some weird strat in the window, through the window, and sees how it sticks. But
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, the hope for Mochi to not take this line down, There were big contenders coming in, but Peenix Pal showing up with some big strength here in game 2, but that is 2-0 in the favor of Peenix Pals here, and next game, potentially the last game of this series, potentially not. You'll just have to stick around and see what happens. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are here before Game 3 starts with both Insane Chaos and Rusty Shackleford to break down Game 2 for you of this Best of 5 series. All right, give it to me, guys. What happened there? What could be done better?
A Doom got this. That's what happened. What a cool hero concept. Beyond that though, I think Spirit Breaker happened. There were a couple of pickoffs on Quap and PA that should not have happened. It just disrupted their tempo way too much. And I'm waiting for my game to load so I can see the draft. I'm not sure if I need to rejoin or something. I'm not sure if it's loading. Can you see the
Mochi,
draft?
Huh?
not yet. Mochi needs to place more emphasis on this mid lane. The mid laner is the best
Yes.
player on Peenix Pals, and twice in a row he's been given a free lane.
Immortals in my Divine League, man.
Yeah, we have Immortals in Divine, but you have to address him. I mean, you have to address him regardless of if he's an Immortal player or not. You're giving the mid laner a free game when they have a very greedy draft. They have a Doom and a Luna, two very farmer-oriented heroes, but they basically just let them farm, and you see that they just got to the top of net worth. They need to, in my opinion, pick a 4 or a 5 that can rotate on mid, secure runes, maybe get some ganks off, make this guy's life difficult, stop letting them take the tier 1 mid before your mid when you have a Jakiro on your team, and like make the mid laner actually play the game, because right now in that one he just got farmed for 15-20 minutes and then he was 4k ahead of everybody. So I'd like to see more emphasis placed on getting their own mid laner a good game and stopping this Soralella guy from doing whatever he wants.
Something else I've been noticing a lot with Mochi is that they pick these very mobility oriented for like finding pickoffs and whatnot. We saw in game 1 and game 2, like they find a kill and then they don't disengage. They just keep hunting for more, even though like now Peenix Palace can kind of take the fight on their own terms. So like there's one time where like Luna stood her ground with Eclipse and the entire Dire just kind of face tanked it. And she died, but it ended up costing you your PA, and then the rest of the team died shortly after, and it just wasn't worth. You could have just avoided that confrontation with your mobility-oriented heroes. You just dodged the Luna instead of die to her.
I don't know. We were talking about this with Pip-Boy at the break, and Peenix Pals is just out executing them. They're running around the map way too much as 5, even like PA, like you were saying, Insane Chaos.
Battle Fury to fight.
Like
Right?
she was buying Battle Fury and then showing up to like every single fight and dying to Doom. I feel like the way you win is if you get so farmed that you don't actually care about the Doom on both your PA and your Quap, because at the end of the day, this Luna had such a rough start. It's gonna be hard for them to be grouping up and punishing you that much. Especially like with your mid laner being Doom. Like basically that hero just functions to farm and get bigger than you, and then exerts his dominance. But I think they kind of gimped themselves with this group up style, and it really showed because their cores were like way down on the net worth, while Luna just kind of caught back up into the game and became a serious force.
I agree. And I
I
still
don't
can't
know.
see the game.
Yeah,
Give Tornado a ganking hero, in my opinion. Like, the Shikiro hasn't worked. You haven't executed properly with it. You're not grouping up. You're getting the mid tower like way too late both times. And I think you need to try something else and stifle this mid laner. I don't know
In
if you
game
want to
one,
get
they
rid
got-
of Weaver, but Weaver
game
seems
one,
to
they
be at
got
least
the ga-
annoying.
They got that mid tier 1, like after Megas in game 1, which was hilarious. And then they kept pushing. All right. I can see players connecting, and we're live with draft.
there we go.
5
Into the draft of
seconds
Game
remaining.
3 here, Mochi versus Peenix Pals. It looks like Peenix Pals is
Radiant's turn to
Radiant
bat.
again. Have they been... I honestly don't know if they prefer it, or if they've just been getting lucky here, but I believe
They
they've been...
got the Dire game 1.
Yeah, they were Dire Game 1 and Radiant Game 2. Another Radiant once more. Seems there's no singular
Interesting.
secret sauce for sides.
Mochi is second pick again. I'm wondering if they leave the Weaver in, because it seems Peenix will probably just stick to this Necro, this Tree Ban, and try to get Weaver themselves. So I'm curious if Mochi will adjust here. Like OD, obviously, yeah, that hero's terrible. Like you don't want to play against him, fine. But I'm curious if they will let Weaver through once again, because I don't see Peenix leave it. Like I feel like Peenix will just take it. So.
I don't see the motivator for the Treant ban. Is there someone on Mochi that executes it really well?
I think last time these team played in upper bracket, Mochi just dumpstered them twice with Tree. And he's
Yeah,
a strong laner, so... Strong laner, like, protects your cores if they get ganked or sustain them through a fight. Oh, they just take Kunkka. Okay.
Oh boy. They can
Okay.
play it in 3 and mid, so it's a nice flex also.
This was a 5 Kunkka,
I think
though,
their
not
mid
8.
really... I think their mid only plays it, from what I was seeing on the match history. So I think it'll be a mid. You need to address this Kunkka. You need to not give him a free lane like you did game 1. Spearbreaker, not enough. He's just gonna farm and harass you and grief you with all these interrupts. You need something that can gank him. You need damage. You need burst.
Really, game 1 was such a masterclass of how to play this hero. He ended up like landing combos on people that were trying to juke them a lot of different times. There's a really perfect torrent on Ricky Tricks of the Trade. Could have been that maybe they didn't really predict how the Kunkka would try to adjust, but it was definitely really well executed on the Kunkka spot. And then this is the 3rd game of Jakiro. We're gonna see if it's actually gonna win a game, but this is elimination. And it hasn't worked so far. I don't know. I'm still down with the Night Stalker, but I'm not seeing a single answer to a Kunkka that steamrolled you game 1, and you had an opportunity to counter him twice. This was not a 5 pick. This was not an 8 pick Kunkka. It was a 5 pick.
I think you need to switch it up at this point. I understand, like, their Jakiro is really good. They normally execute it well, and it's like a good integral part of their team, but... Oh man, we are
You're gonna see a
getting
3rd game
the
of Clopper.
fucking runbacks. Yeah, like we
Yeah.
said before, like he just addresses Jakiro well.
I'm tempted
Gives
to
a lot
just...
of vision.
I'm very tempted to just say Peenix Pals 1, close the stream. I'm gonna go eat some peanut butter cups, but I'll stick around.
I think Night Stalker can be a good flexible pick for your team. I think Jakiro can be this useful hero that allows you to get a lot done on the map, but it just hasn't worked out. So I'm hoping that they adjust the other 3 picks and deal with this Kunkka, because right now they don't. Kunkka has another free game, so we'll see. They ban out the E-Rock Juggernaut, which would... I mean, Night Stalker's decent against Juggernaut, but it is a comfort pick for him. It's really good against Jakiro. They don't have the most control for him overall other than the silence, so... We will see. Peenix basically just sticking to their bans. Viper, the Spanky Slark. I feel like they've been banning the same stuff pretty much every game, and why would you change it up? It's been working so far, so...
5 seconds.
Are there any specific heroes that you think they need to be addressing more in this second phase ban? Because we've seen some similar bans coming out so far from either team. Or you think there's something that either team needs to be thinking about more, as heroes are being repeated quite a bit in this series?
Yes.
You think what needs to be removed, you think?
Well, Phoenix Pals are still doing their same game plan. They banned out mids and carries that address Kunkka, the Viper and the Slark especially. So Team Mochi need to... I don't know what their bans, how they need to be different. I mean, Spearbreaker's
There
still
it
in the
is.
pool. I'm not
There's
sure.
the correct
there it
adjustment
is.
in my
There it
opinion.
is. I don't think like the Spearbreaker was particularly pivotal in game 2, but yeah.
He's just a big body that doesn't die. He stuns you and he gives vision. Clockwork
that-
and Spearbreaker giving you vision at nighttime, especially when Night Stalker is supposed to have the vision advantage. He has a night vision talent, which is really nice. I think that's a really good adjustment. And they already banned Weaver, which I think was the other adjustment I wanted to see from the bans. So
Also, like in game 2, they were banning out mids that would spell trouble for the Night Stalker, but since the mid is already shown, it's harder for us to really predict like what kind of bans they're going to look for going forward. Because any bans that they do here are going to kind of reveal what they're looking to pick in second phase.
It is Dire's ban.
All right, there's another carry that adjusts his Kunkka banned out.
yeah, I think Mochi could have also potentially banned that themselves.
AA
They banned AA,
banned
so
out?
okay, this is interesting. I'm
Let's
wondering
go.
what kind of
Oh,
hero
Tim.
they're
There it
looking
is. That's one way of owning
Okay.
the Kunkka lane, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I like
still,
this actually.
the mid has been so strongly in favor of Peenix pals that I'm sure that Sorlella can find a way to work
10
around it. But
seconds remain.
man, you can't just rush a Silver Edge and hope for the best this
5
game.
seconds.
You can't just rush damage. You need to find a way to survive this Timber Saw. Get a BKB way faster than you did in game 1.
Yeah, he needs an early BKB. I
Mhm.
think Armlet plus BKB could be good, or just straight up rushing it would be nice.
Probably.
Something funky he could do is go for Spirit Vessel, although I haven't seen people really trending for that from the mid lately.
I think going Spirit Vessel against Timber, yeah, it's good, but Timber should be getting an item to clear it
That's true.
fairly early on.
Normally the Yules or the Lotus, or both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Luna, pretty nice. I think they think it's in the side lane. Also, I will note, Hungry Peenix is a huge Timbersaw player, so I think they swipe that also as a potential block pick of sorts. Potential decider, they might want their offlane on his best hero, so they kind of just snatched it. Luna is nice against Timber overall, but if Timber starts rolling
Mhm.
the game, it's very difficult because he's constantly in your face and invading, and you can't really do anything if he's having a good game.
I don't think he would have considered Timbersaw on the side of Peenix Pals. That hero is not fun to play into Night Stalker.
Dire's turn.
Yeah, your spells
Yeah.
kind of own him, but you need to get a BKB to deal with Night Stalker. And that's not an item you generally want to pick up early on Timber. Maybe later in the game, but Night Stalker forces you into getting BKB fast. Witch Doctor is cool. This is kind of like an Ice Blast against Timbersaw with Maledict. Like you
Mhm.
5
problem is that there
seconds
isn't a
remain.
whole lot of other bursts to coincide with that, unless Luna like maxes her Lucent Beam, which maybe we'll see that even happen. I'm not
These
sure.
are the one guys I've seen picking Witch Doctor consistently in
Mm-hmm.
intermediate, and they do perform well with it, but normally they have a hero like Juggernaut who is a kill threat with Witch Doctor, which to me is one of the big strengths of the hero. When you
Witch
cast
Doctor and Luna are
Maledict
still
on
really
somebody,
strong.
yeah, but I feel like he's kind of obliged almost to go for a more Lucent Beam oriented build in that case, which I'm not sure. With Night Stalker in the lane, this E-Rock needs to learn from his mistake of last game. He was forced to the jungle by Night Stalker because that's one of the strengths of that hero is he boots the safe laner out like at 5 minutes or shortly thereafter. So I don't think he wants to go for an aggressive type of skill build against a Night Stalker because ultimately
I don't think
he's
he
gonna get
has
booted
to
out.
though, because Luna just gets Lunar Blessing, and Witch Doctor benefiting from that smacks in conjunction with Maledict, so they don't really need to. But here is okay. This is another hero that can kind of deal with Kunkka. Kunkka is very reliant on. He doesn't have attack speed, is what I mean to say. So they don't really have a great
10 seconds
tombstone hitter.
remain.
Luna needs to get very close up in order to hit it, and that kind of just
5
sets up
seconds
for
remain.
Ice Path, Timbersaw spells, the whole 9 yards. I really like this Undyne pick.
Dire's turn
That being
to
said,
ban.
Undyne also kind of melts to Maledict.
It is
um,
Radiant's ban.
The thing I like about Undying is they're addressing the problem where Peenix is getting too much out of the lanes. Undying is an extremely strong 5 position for the lane. He bullies whatever side lane he's in,
Dire's ban.
and he secures the lane for his carry, or I guess if he was a 4 position for the off lane, because they do have Jakiro, so it'll be curious who goes where. But he's just a really strong early game hero that's gonna secure his course farm. I'll be interested. I don't care for this Witch Doctor with Luna. I would like it if they picked it with a more aggressive carry.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
9 also
For me,
rocks
that's one
the
of the
clock
big
card.
strengths of the hero.
So what I find interesting, Peenix Pals, they're banning out carries, but they're banning out ranged heroes like Sniper and Drow. Like Drow is okay against Luna, but I wouldn't want to play either of those heroes against Clockwork and Kunkka. I feel I could be wrong.
Yeah. To me, the
Mochi
strength.
banning out offlaners.
I think that Drow and Sniper are really good bans here. I mean, Clockwork, yes, but they're both very natural Hurricane Pike builders.
10
To me, the
seconds
strength
remaining.
of heroes like Drow and Sniper, especially from
5
safe lane, is when
Mhm.
they outrange the enemy carry. And when you're a Luna with low attack range, but still ranged hero,
Mhm.
you don't want to be playing against those kinds of safe laners as your counterpart.
Yeah.
So curious, looks like they're still looking for their off lane here. And they go for Razor.
Well, they've been basically all the ranged heroes, so
I don't hate it. I think he can link up Undying and do a decent amount of work.
10 seconds
Curious
remaining.
what Mochi goes for. The cores of Mochi,
5
the supports are
seconds
relatively
remaining.
stationary, but the cores so far, Timber and Night Stalker,
Mhm.
are quite mobile with a lot of movement speed on Night Stalker and the Timber chain of Timber. So I'm curious what they're gonna
Yeah.
go for here.
oh,
And they go
Okay.
for a
boy.
very stationary carry to follow that up.
I'm not terribly perturbed by this Dusa pick. Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough against Razor early on, but you have some very good tempo coming out from Timber and Night Stalker. Not to mention just these supports. They do a very good job of letting Dusa farm and her not needing to disrupt fights. And it's also a hero that has an answer for the early BKB Razor. You just press Stone Gaze, and he's gonna have to disengage, and then you can rejoin the fight later once his cooldowns are gone. But I don't want to say Team Mochi have this handily because off of draft, because clearly that hasn't been the
5
case.
seconds.
So, Sorella Kunkka, they just won game 3. Go next.
I don't know. I like Peenix Palace draft. I think they're just gonna run away from Night Stalker like we saw in the second game. Their heroes are high movement speed once again, and they have good disengage with Clock and Witch Doctor being able to throw the coconuts. So I'm going with Peenix. I like their draft.
All right, it seems like we're all
Crossing my fingers.
a little, I guess, on the same page here. I'm hoping that Mochi can pull something out. I mean, they've been such a dominant force this season. It would be a shame to see them just kind of like
Fizzle
a
out.
candle just being blown out, you know? Just
I will say they do have a way to give Medusa a good game. They have heroes that'll make space for her. I'm just not sure they have the lockdown in the fights to just stop people from walking away.
If they execute this game like they have in games 1 and 2, without a doubt, just Peenix Pals. So they need to
And-
make some great mental recovery in order to get this game in their hands, which they can early on. But can they carry that momentum?
They have 3 strong lanes. I'll say that. Their lanes are strong. So, good luck. Turn it over to Licky and Pip-Boy.
Alright, we are now into Game 3 of this best of 5 series. Can Peenix Pals close it out, win with a decisive 3-0, or can Mochi claw it back? Maybe start a wondrous comeback here in this grand finals. We'll just have to see. I'm again joined by Pip to bring you guys this amazing series. And there's a pause, because of course, why not?
Licky, while it's paused, do you want to go set your building on fire? Anything. Like, honestly, get it out of the way if you need to do. We can wait. I'll
Yeah,
message
yeah,
the
sure.
teams to just hold on.
Oh god,
Are you,
this is
are you
never
sure?
gonna get
Are you
old.
good?
Oh my god, I hope, dude. I don't know who set it off, but I have to thank them, honestly, for doing that, because amazing timing from them, honestly.
Epic timing from you, by the way. After game 1, you just showed up right when it ended.
Yeah.
That's good timing. I'm getting a little conspiratorial here, my friend.
I set my own building on fire just to let you cast some more? I think so. That sounds just about right to me.
All right,
We've
so what
heard
do
a
we think of
little-
these drafts, Licky?
I was literally just about to ask you, my analyst, after we've heard the panelists break it down a little. What are your thoughts? Are you favoring Phoenix Palace here? Do you think their draft is superior? Obviously, their gameplay has been this series, but let's just look, just playing drafts here. What are you liking?
So Mochi's draft on a surface level isn't really that bad at all. I think the reason why we were a little bit critical of it is because their execution over the last few games has kind of led us to believe that they won't be able to execute this draft. But on a surface level, you have Undying Vision to take high ground. You have a strong 20-minute timing from Medusa to start powering down, or to start, taking all the towers down. You have Timbersaw to tear apart, or attempt to tear apart the Kunkka and Clockwork and whatnot, and a Night Stalker to control, or for, I guess, early to mid game vision and control that way and kind of snowball that way. There definitely are holes in that draft. I think the Undying, for example, if you already have Night, so okay, let's go point by point. So first phase Night Stalker, not good, unless you're picking it after, or I forgot what the specific. If you have first pick and you're picking it second phase, then maybe, or the second part of it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Licky?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you
Okay.
don't want to open with it like that. Yeah.
Yes, you don't want to open with it because it's a little bit greedy, and it also lacks a few things. It is strong in a few ways, but if you're able to shut down the Night Stalker early, then he becomes just a glorified farmer during nighttime, kind of. But I think so. First of all, I don't like really the pick in the first phase, but now that we have it, okay, we're aiming for some sort of mid-game timing. I think Undying, a big reason why I like Undying is because he's a vision hero on top of just being like this awesome laner, but he does fall off extraordinarily quick. Pushing high ground, however, you'll always have the tombstone for vision. It's kind of hard to whack that tombstone, especially if you have Night Stalker in the trees and Timbersaw ready to go on, and especially if you have like a Medusa on high ground sieging with you as well. You get a lot of free vision. But you already have vision from Night Stalker, so it kind of takes away a lot of strength of that hero. And it's also, but the reason why I kind of like their draft is because they are tripling down on this method of play, where we are going to try and win the game and be at racks at, I would say, less than 25 minutes. If they are not at a tier 3 tower at less than 25 minutes, then I think this game is pretty much over for them, because there are too many counters on the team of Peenix. Like they have Razor, who is going to make Medusa pretty much not work at all. They have all these ranged heroes that deal with the tombstone. They have Razor for... Razor is actually a fantastic pick this game. It counters, what, 3 heroes, pretty much? And yeah, it's just like... I think if the game goes past 25 minutes, not to say that Peenix's scaling is really that good at all. They're playing this Luna timing for sure. But I do think... the longer the game goes, the harder it is for Mochi, and that's pretty much been every single game we've casted with Mochi. Is that they pick these early game lineups, and their execution falls very, very slightly short. And now, I will say that I kind of like Peenix's idea. So they went Razor offlane. This is something that kind of is a pet peeve of mine because I like having initiators as my 3. However, because they have a Kunkka mid, they kind of have the freedom to do that. And also a Clock is a very strong floor initiator. I have the freedom to do that. Throughout the drafting phase, every single pick from Peenix made sense in a way and was kind of like strong and solid. Like the Luna made sense in the first phase as like a decent laner against the Night Stalker until the first nighttime and being kind of like their farmer. The Clockwork made sense in the first phase. The Razor made sense in the last phase. Witch Doctor was a great pick as well. I think Witch Doctor is a fantastic pick this game. I do think that Peenix will win this game. Of both of these drafts, I think Peenix. I'm getting ahead of myself. Peenix's draft is a little bit easier to execute and also makes a little bit more sense in a few areas. They have counters and all these different things, and Mochi is kind of like leveraged into one area, which is winning the game in 20 to 25 minutes, even though there are counters on the other team. And the D push on Peenix is also good. So if Kunkka had less, let's say it's a mid laner with less push or D push, then I think Mochi's draft would be actually very, very frightening. But because they have Kunkka, because they have Razor, they can even maybe go like Ags Luna, or sorry, Ags Shard Luna to help clear waves as well. It's going to be a lot harder to push, and that's not what their draft wants. So that's my 2 cents. I've talked for 3 minutes straight. What do you think, Licky?
I am gonna make you talk a little more because I have a question about some of the things that you brought up. So I'm gonna force you as an analyst to speak. I know it's not part of your job description, but so
All good.
you're bringing up this draft of Mochi being one that wants to end in 25 minutes. What specifically in that draft is leading you to that conclusion? Because I can't say that I reached that same conclusion myself, and I'm curious what leads you to say that the draft that Mochi has, these 5 heroes, is one that wants to end in 25 minutes.
Sure. Undying falls off at 15 minutes. Timbersaw falls off at 15 minutes. Jakiro is a hero that you want for laning and for pushing. Nightstalker's a hero that falls off past 25 minutes. And Medusa has a very strong 20-minute timing when she gets her second item. So does Medusa scale into late game? Sure she does. But does she scale in combination with all the rest of the heroes on Mochi's team? Not at all. So you're going to, if you go late game, you're in a situation where you have Medusa and then no other heroes on your team. And in that sort of scenario, I would be led to believe that Peenix will win the game because their heroes scale as a unit better than Mochi's. And that's my analysis.
Alright, I see. When you were saying that, that's kind of similarly what I was getting, but okay, I see. But yeah, these drafts here, I mean, at least I think the silver lining for Mochi, I feel like, is their mid lane should go better this time. They've got the Timber into Kunkka. Of course, as I say that, he is behind in CS, as Sorla is doing a great job of clearing the small camp. But the Timber has been doing some good work in the early levels to keep Sora off the wave. It's going to be dependent on, I think, whether this boat is going to come out first, or if Han can get the ult first as well. Also going for that Yules very quickly. Great item this game. Great against Kunkka. I mean, overall, great. You can also dodge out the coconut.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually, I think, a big reason why that's a good item this game. But I will say I was exaggerating a little bit when I said 15-minute timer on Timbersaw. It's early, but not that early. But
Yeah.
Undying, it quite literally is 15 minutes. That's when he starts falling off. But anyway, so the Luna is actually getting absolutely smacked in this lane. That could be a first blood.
Oh, Nightstalker
excellent
stunned under
Jabate.
tower.
Wow,
the
that was very
wand?
close. Great
Very
wand.
close, yeah. Got the salve as well, and no salve available for this. Ooh, Tornado actually salves, making sure 3 now has no HP in the lane. Ooh, that's rough.
Ouch. But yeah, but look at how mid's going. This is the first time Mochi has been able to have like a decent lane against the Peenix mid laner. So at least this is going, you know, this leads us to believe that maybe the game will be a little bit better. Just absolutely running over this Kunkka. Kunkka can't really even return to lane. It looks like he might do Grand Theft Auto on the runes.
Yeah. Oh god, they're gonna lose the Witch Doctor and then the Jakiro to the Maledict, and now Erok being run down right here. The stun though, turn again. Nightstalker baited under the tower is gonna go down. And I mean, top as well, Flydown was getting low. Lots of action happening at the exact same time here. Oh.
And wow, the Timbersaw is hasting the
Haste
top.
route.
This might be...
He's going for
This
Hungry
is
Phoenix
scary.
here. Can he get him? He just needs to slow from the ult, plus the follow. Ooh, wait, ooh. Not a whole lot of damage, and great cogs from Werewood as well, but it looks like Hungry Phoenix should go down if any of his
Rescue,
spells
thank
connect.
you.
There we go. Now
He was
turning on
going for
Werewood.
style points.
Han has to be a little bit careful. Oh, great
Oh,
stun
he was
from
canceled.
Werewood there, and now Sora has the boat, has the torrent, has all the damage, I think, to take out this Timbersaw, unless he survives the burst. Oh my god. Okay.
Close.
Ugh.
His wand just came off a cooldown as he survived, but that was almost too close.
Oh, it's all the
Um,
raindrops. The raindrops. Clutch from Han there.
But yeah, he could have killed that. He actually, you know what? He would have lived if he just put press Q when he was diving for Razor. He was going for style points by trying to do the Timber Chain, but he could have just pressed Q and then the Razor dies. But yeah, so let's look at this bot lane. The Night Stalker at nighttime, as far as farm goes, doing like, you know, it is what it is. But he's getting a decent amount of farm in this lane. They're kind of like pushing into him. The Luna's transitioning to jungle. This is definitely a better situation for the Luna than the previous game, where Luna was forced out at level 4. We have
They're
Jakiro now
actually
kind of
going
coming around
for
the
a
side.
kill. I feel like
It's a
Luna
little
should just
tough.
be speccing into farming abilities, especially after like knowing what happened last game. I think you just want to leave this lane. I think you just are more efficient as a hero
Yeah,
in the
for sure.
jungle. And
For sure.
this lane is going really well for Luna. And not because Luna is doing that great, but because Night Stalker is not actually farming that well. Like, I think if you're 8 minutes in as an NS, and you only have 24 CS against the heroes that you're playing, with the Jakiro in your lane, which is like the best 4 you could possibly have because of how oppressive it is. I mean, I think you should have at least phase boots by now, if not something more.
Yeah.
But now Luna finally leaving the lane, farming up, thank god.
Yeah, and we actually see like a similar thing happening with the Medusa now kind of like leaving the lane. Luna definitely got a lot more out of the lane than Medusa did, but Medusa's transitioning to jungle here. And one thing I've noticed about both teams is that they haven't really made stacks. They have 2 farming, both teams have a farming hero and a timing with that farming
Werewood up top, Clockwork gonna go down to take damage, Jakiro cleans it up, gets a courier as well, so that's kind of nice. Night Stalker TPing top to alleviate some of this pressure.
Wow, and surprisingly enough, looking at the bot lane, they're just letting all this free farm and XP go away. That's very not... This is kind of different from how they've been playing in the start, which is very kind of, you know, responding to all these areas of pressure, playing the map really well. Letting all that free XP go at 9 minutes into the game is really weird. I would have at least have liked to see the Witch Doctor there to sap XP in some way, especially because they saw Night Stalker and Jakiro rotate to top. There's 4 heroes on the top side of the map, so hopefully there is some sort of push in the bottom lane. Hopefully someone realizes this.
They had the Luna down there. Erok eventually got to the lane, but they had the Witch Doctor and then the Kunkka actually taking the Night Stalker
Oh, in the top lane.
Hungry Peenix has to get something off in time. The Ice Path, you can't get out of there. No way. Tombstone dropped as well to maybe facilitate this push and make sure no one else comes, but they are currently pushing 2 other lanes on the side of Peenix Palace, mid and bottom with this Kunkka and Luna.
Great, and it's so good. So I like that Mochi is being much more manly and aggressive with taking these towers, much more than the first 2 games. That's definitely something they needed to do. But here we go, we have Peenix showing why they've had a 2-0 so far.
Oh, they've got the both, they've got the combo, they've got the Maldic and the Coconut coming out as well. This might just be a kill if they can actually lock down the Timber, which they can. So Han's gonna be A-okay over here. That Tidebringer hit was pretty big though.
And they're
now?
still kind of staying around mid, definitely using this catapult to the max, and this mid tower is going to fall. I feel like in every single game, alright, it looks like they back up. They're not going to grab the mid tower. But it looks like in every game, they are pressuring that mid tower very, very hard with the mid laner every time they feel like it's not going to be defended. I also see that on the side of the Dire, they have 2 obs wards in the mid lane for double the vision. Very cool.
Oh wait, where? Oh, they're right on top of each other. Ooh, that's tragic. And they're 2 different... Okay, we gotta see who put these wards down. Han did one of them. Tornado did the other.
Whoever did the one later is the one who gets flamed.
It was the mid laner. Han did. Oh no, that's rough.
Alright, he deserves just a little, an ounce of flame after the game for that, for sure.
Oh.
But this Witch Doctor, oh my god, this Witch Doctor is insane. Timbersaw could have 100% dove in that and killed him, like, immediately. This is the time of the game where Timbersaw is not killable. He has 4 points reactive armor. That was a 4-point Tidebringer, and Timbersaw, I don't think he lost any health, so they should be using this. It makes me very anxious to see Timbersaw looking for camps to farm right now when you have a Jakiro and an Undying on your team. You have to be shoving towers. In the first game, they had a Jakiro and they were not shoving towers. They have to command the game right now. It's 12 minutes in, and I feel like they are already moving way too slow. Night Stalker, Dark Ascension coming up soon. We have an Arcane Rune as well, so they can definitely do something here. But they have to play aggressively, and then they can start going high ground as soon as they have that 1.5 to 2 items on Medusa, the Dragonlance plus X or whatever, and then they should have a good foothold in this game.
There is a smoke on the Night Stalker right here. It looks like they're maybe looking for the Undying, but Werewood maybe got a little more than he bargained for. Hungry Phoenix now in a little bit of trouble. They need a stun to cancel his TP, or maybe they just have the damage, and now Werewood left the line. Ooh, I feel like this guy always has a pig pull, but again, not enough to get him out of there. And what else can they find? Potentially Jotun mid. Oh, you need to back out of here, Witch Doctor.
Good job, man.
Witch Doctor, run, run. Oh, he's gonna get the stun him. Nice, huge, great hold on that Void there. But the both Torrent combo is gonna come in, plus the Maledict, and Poggers most probably, actually no, totally fine. The Maledict was only, that's level 3 Maledict. It really only did that much.
So a minute has passed before I said I was anxious. I am even more anxious. So Timbersaw is farming a lane right now where there's no tower to take on the map. He is not going mid, he is not going bot. Both of those are the objectives on the map right now, not the top tier 2. So I think they had this great fight, they got great picks. They have to transition this into towers. They could have just stood mid with Timbersaw taking the tower and taken that tower. They absolutely could have done that. They had Dark Ascension going. They had 3 kills. Kunkka was overextended and alone in the mid lane. It's just all these things happening. So let's look at how Luna's doing. Luna's farm is actually not bad. So we have Mask of Madness and Dragonlance at 14 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and she's going for, again, that early crit. Wow. I guess they're planning to push their timing. I think they're gonna get this stronger 20-minute timing than Mochi is. Tornado, X Tornado back, gonna drop the macro as well. Are they gonna go more? Looks like not, since the tombstone's going down, but they do have Werewood smoked up behind, and they have, nope, the vision just got removed. This guy might just go for the Dusa. Nope, okay, he's not that crazy.
So Luna going in early game timing, like I said, is actually really good, not because you are trying to fight the enemy team, like you are actively trying to fight the enemy team, but because you expect a fight happening if you look at the team. I look at their team and I see heroes that want to be at high ground at 25 minutes. Am I going to go a farming Luna build where I don't expect to be strong at that time, or am I going to go more of a fighting-esque type of build?
That was an insane hook shot, and now the Dark Ascension's going to be popped here. Werewood looks like going to be the casualty here. He has no spells and no life available, but now looking at mid, they are potentially, they're just standing here. I mean, Sora's not really scared. Has a BKB completed at 15 minutes in, so very, very strong, imposing Kunkka. It looks like they're going to back away, at least for the duration of this Dark Ascension, as Poggers looks for anyone, but E-Rock already on the other side of the map. No fear at all. X onto Tornado. Torrent, both, the stun, the X back is coming though. They're going to hit onto the Jakiro right here, but again, Raindrops coming in clutch, keeping him alive. Poggers coming in with the backline with the Crippling Fear. Now out of mana, has to run away. Tombstone down as well, so Peenix Balls can kind of chill if they want to. They are going to use the Maledict plus the X onto Han right here. Do they have any other damage? The Yule's dodge on the Torrent and the X though. Nice play. Static Link. Not going to last for much time at all. The macro, the coconut. Oh my god. The speed on these heroes, the disengage back and forth. E-Rock now joining the fight. Has the ult available. Gonna pop that level 1 Eclipse onto the heroes here in the mid lane. The X back, Torrent onto the Night Stalker, plus the Death Ward being dropped down. Can they get 2 heroes? They do. Sora completes up both supports. And now Han getting bashed up by Roach. Misses the Timber Chain. Another bash from Roach. Han needs to get out of there. 1 coconut. He has the mana. Oh no. He gets Torrented X back as well. They're gonna. Oh, Roach. He finally claims the kill that he deserves. Oh, he gets
Roshan
it.
is now on the scoreboard. We have an XD in chat. I second that XD. But a lot of momentum, so much momentum has just been put to a grinding halt on Mochi. It is 16 minutes into the game. I said I would like to see them at tier 3s at sub 25 minutes. Do you see that happening in this game, Licky?
I don't. This Medusa has to come back and do something amazing, otherwise I think they're in
She
they're in
definitely
trouble.
does. There were no stacks to help this Medusa achieve her timing that their entire team pretty much revolves around. There wasn't any movements to take towers, anything like this. The game is not even over, but it feels over.
Night Stalker, Poggers, caught. Very much dead, not Poggers at all. Night Stalker's gonna die once more.
Yeah, and now, like, even though we can definitely look at both teams and say that Team Mochi's early game is very, very strong, probably stronger. You know, taking this last fight, you just see a lot of confidence coming out from Peenix. And I think because this could potentially be the last game in the series, Mochi is kind of like scrambling for what to do. I hope that they take this kind of anxiety, like the anxiety that I have been having, and just throw it at a lane. Do a smoke play. I mean, it's nighttime. You have Dark Ascension. Do a smoke play. Do anything. With the Medusa, sure, I'll forgive it. Just please, you know, push a tower. Literally anything, and I will be happy.
Yeah, this slow waiting game is really just only benefiting the Luna right now. I think if the Medusa had a better start, she'd like it more. Like you said, there were no stacks or anything like that. She does have the Yasha right now, so she is farming at a better pace. And also does have the maxed out split shot. But I don't know, dude, this Kunkka, Sora's Kunkka is just terrifying. BKB gonna get popped here with the Arcane Rune. The hookshot's gonna be off the mark, but they're gonna get the boat torrent combo off onto Poggers right here. He's gonna pop the Dark Ascension, but he's gonna get caught by that coconut. Do they have any more damage? They have the Lucent Beam plus the X. My god. They have no way of getting away. Werewood is gonna give up his life to Han here. And now the Ice Path, the Tombstone's already down. Han going through, dealing quite a bit of damage. Buyback from the NS here. Spanky gonna pop that Stone Gaze. That's a kill on E-Rock. The Luna's gonna go down, and now Sora getting slowed down by this giant zombie. Can they get the final hit? They're going to get the catch from the Ice Path, plus the vision needed to complete the kill. And that's exactly what they needed. They did commit a buyback from the Stalker, but still a decent trade for Mochi.
And they did buy back, and this is, I would say, the outcome is overall good, but it's kind of like a slim amount of good.
Yeah.
They are transitioning this for a tower, so this is really good. Okay, much better that they're getting stuff out of it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna death ward. Jotun's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Clockwork's crazy too. They could literally kill both of these supports right now.
Ready the needle there.
But they're playing scared. I think they're just scared of losing the last game. They could have absolutely demolished every hero on the map if Clockwork even landed that hook, so. Yeah, I mean, so Medusa does have her Manta style. Her timings are late. I think you would want Manta style plus like Dragon Lance plus like, you know, your turret's another item at this point. If I'm not, I'm a little bit rusty on timings, but especially because I'm not a one player. However, definitely late on timings on Medusa, but as soon as, like, I would say you should start grouping as a team and start trying to kind of like take those objectives. But it feels a little bit awkward because, you know, Luna has been just kind of like viciously farming this game. I kind of want to compare the GPMs right now. Luna at 535, Medusa at 408. At 20 minutes into the game, that is not good. Luna has made it her job to farm, but Medusa has been farming as well. It just feels like slower. Neither of them have had stacks. It just doesn't feel like the outlook is good for Mochi right now. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do to try and get back into this game.
Yeah, I think that one fight where they overextended a little out. Ooh, Poggers, no ult. Definitely going to be going down here, and this is a dieback, so very, very big kill onto the Night Stalker right here. The item timings that were delayed even further. This BKB is looking like a fading dream here for this Night Stalker.
And so they are grouped as 5 heroes on the side of the Radiant. However, they are doing this and pushing towers so aggressively. We have 2 TPs in, 3 TPs in. They plan on defending without Night Stalker. I don't know about this.
Macro, Tombstone, Hungry Phoenix taking a bit of damage. Has no BKB of his own, but does have a Eul's, which he may have to pop just to get rid of it. And he's going to turn on to fly down the Death Ward as well. Stone Gaze now coming in. Spanky running in. Doesn't have a ton of mana to work with. May have to back up a little bit. Stoned E-Rock also used their own BKB, but it looks like they're still fine to play. Sora still has his own BKB available. This Tombstone's going to expire very soon. Nice Ice Path coming through, but there is no Macro Power Fall upon now. Dealing a lot of damage off to Sora here, but now the BKB is being popped, and Han, very low on mana himself, needs to pop that Eul's. Maledict's on him as well. Can they pump in a little more damage onto this Timber? It looks like they're doing it right now, but that's a lot of armor. Werewood from the back lines. Where did this guy come from? He's gonna get the hookshot off onto Han right here, but now the Night Stalker's back into the game. Gonna pop the Dark Ascension, looking off onto Sora here, but the bow combo, hitting off onto 2, Han, 3 actually. Tornado's also gonna get hit down here. Maledict off onto 2 here. The 2 cores, they need to back out. Juice is completely out of mana. Can they get her out in time? An X, a Torrent, that's gonna hit off onto the Night Stalker. The Torrent combo, bring in Poggers back in. The creeps are gonna look at him, smack him a little bit, but he should be fine. And a very protracted engagement here, but it looks like they'll finally leave, and it looks like as well Mochi has scouted out this DD rune. Will Peenix Palace see it as well? Yeah, for sure. Sora's gonna snag it. Or E-Rock will, one of the two.
Yeah, it's definitely better on E-Rock, because, yeah, now they can kind of Roche. Now, doing Roche? Not sure about that. Because even though Mochi has lost a lot of momentum, they are not out of this game yet.
They don't have cooldowns, though. They don't have this... They don't have Stone Gaze. They don't have Dark Ascension, which is the best Roche fighting thing.
You're right.
Han has to, like, go balls deep to get in. The Ice Path is quite nice, but the Coconut, Jotun, blocking it away. They finally got the Macro Pyre up in time, but E-Rock's just gonna complete the Roche. He's got this DD, he's gonna pop his BKB and just man fight onto Flydown right here. The Undying, gone. Tornado now, oh, he's been spotted out. Force Staff was not enough to get him away in time, and he's gonna fall as well. They've lost 2 supports for this Roche contest attempt. Can they get more? The Timber? Eyes on him right now, but it should be fine.
This is like the exact opposite of how they wanted this game to go. So yeah, Luna is now Aegis at 23 minutes, pushing tier 2, and can eye high ground as well. I'm not sure if they will go high ground. They might just take it slow, like they play very conservatively, which is a really great trait in Dota, because you're not taking risks that you don't have to take. So they might just take this tier 2 and then move over to top, grab the shrine.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's first
looks like
Aegis. I don't think high ground is a necessity. Like, you just want to set up and take over as much of the map as you want here. Preferably topside, because that bottom tower is completely worthless, so...
Wow, Silver Edge again on Luna. Very interesting.
I guess
I do.
just strong damage output? I mean, it does make you, like, really... Like, you click someone... It's good against the Timber. I mean... already Silver Edge is going to be completed soon for Sora. Has shown to prefer it on this Kunkka hero, and it is a great Silver Edge game. But I mean, it's also good versus Stalker. Decent
I'm
versus
actually okay
Dusa.
with it versus Timber. I think if they get one Silver Edge off on Timber in a fight, they can kind of destroy
He's
him.
just dead,
So
yeah.
this game, I think it is better. But that first game, they had plenty of break. They definitely didn't need a Silver Edge.
Oh, E-Rock is walking up. The
Yeah,
rest of his
this
team,
is fine.
like,
This
left,
is literally fine.
but-
Yeah. Just so they don't have to commit too hard, but yeah, they can just kind of poke and bring everyone back.
Yeah, they're fine. This is where they just back up and say, hey, we have Aegis for another 3 minutes. Let's just farm the entire map.
They can even use the X and kind of siege that way. It's kind of a wonky way of doing it, but they can poke that way as well. But they have 3 minutes in the Aegis. There's no rush. Luckily, I actually see good on Mochi for doing this. The Poggers is kind of like farming when he realizes, okay, they actually are stronger than us. And I'm going to try my best to get strong by not fighting, you know, by farming around the map. And, and he's doing so, he's creating pressure. And this is a big reason why they stopped that push, I believe, as well, is because Night Stalker can take their tier 2 pretty much for free if they try committing.
Sora does have the cool X marks combo, though. Doesn't have the bots to make it super efficient, but does have the ability to clear out a wave, and maybe a hero if they're a little overextended. Spanky does not actually have a TP. I don't think Spanky will be spotted out, though. It actually has a ward of their own here that just got dewarded, as I said that, but I would like to say Jotun's warding game is insane. This goes in like the craziest ways and places wards down. Obviously did it a lot better on Weaver, but look at this. Drops a high ground ward already. There, I don't believe that was scouted out at all, but very cool play.
And yeah, this game, so, I mean, they still have Aegis a minute 30. I would want to do something with it. Oh, they have Silver Edge up. They
They're
might
gonna
kill
find Timber. Oh my god. He eats one. E-Rock waiting for the other one. The Yules. Oh no, he got baited, dude. Oh, the boat combo. Han caught
That's
out.
huge. They still have Aegis. They still have a minute 10 on Aegis. They can go high ground right now if they wanted to.
Werewood, the crazy man himself, somehow always next to the enemy heroes rather than his own, but does so much with it. Hookshot gonna miss.
It doesn't look like they want to use this Aegis. I think that's a mistake. 30 seconds on Timber. They could go down mid, they can go down top. They can at least poke.
Yeah, I think they can. I don't think it's, like, necessary. Again, like, it's first Aegis, but I think they just need to, like... They've set up really good vision. Like, it would be nice for them to poke. I think that's, like, the optimal thing, but if they don't, it's like, Jusa does have Scotty, though, so actually managed to get another item, which is kind of cool. And good versus this Luna. And the Kunkka.
I can
literally
see this
every
game going to 60 minutes. I can for sure see that. And if it does, I think that might work better for Mochi, because then you're in like mega late game and anyone can make mistakes. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, because yeah, Medusa high ground is really, really good. On top of the fact that Luna has to be the one sieging high ground, which is practically a melee hero.
Poggers might just have to use his BKB here. Nope. Oh, Torrent almost gonna hit here, but I think they just play bottom. Just despite the fact that this tower is useless, I think you need to close out this bottom side of the map to make sure that the Night Stalker is not just farming you crazy. Wow, the damage from E-Rock, the coconut as well. Are they gonna keep going? I think so. I think they just keep clicking this guy.
Wow. Now they don't have Aegis, but they feel strong right now. I might try and tickle high ground.
Yeah.
I might try and tickle high ground.
And they just sent a what is it called? Rocket Flare, and they also have this ward here, so they know that the Dusa's here. They just saw a glimpse of the Jakiro as well. Jakiro will TP back. Tornado is here to set a defense for high ground in case it happens, but they know these heroes are not in their base. Flydom TPing as well, Han TPing as well. Looks like they're finally on Mochi. Gonna realize that they have to commit to this defense. And this ward from Jotun, oh my god. Only now gonna get spotted out. It's been here for half its duration. My god.
They could use X.
Yeah, I think they should, in fact, but they're just doing a little pokey poke.
Just playing it safe. They're probably playing next Roche like you were saying.
Yeah.
And that's when they plan to, fall on go high ground, because it's very hard to take high ground in the last few patches. So you really need a bunch of items to do it. It's kind of risky to do it until you have like X amount of items. Obviously there are some strats that can make it through that if you have good enough push, but if their push is only guaranteed on one hero, then you would want that hero as slotted as possible with Aegis in order to attempt high ground.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that Hungry Phoenix didn't actually go for the refresher. I know it's more of like a mid-raiser thing to go for like the straight BKB refresher, but decided to go for the BKB Yules. I mean, still good. Not that the items that he built were wrong, but he's going for the Shivas into Swiftblink next, which is interesting. Seems to be wanting to get onto the backlines with his Clockwork, potentially.
Yeah, I think they're prepping for a late game, because they realize if their push is on Luna and it's against the Medusa, it's going to be really hard to do it. And they might just be kind of like planning for late game. I do think that the Blink is actually like a pretty decent item though.
It's pretty cool. I think the Dusa might want... I don't know if you can spare the 1400 gold for Shard, but I think that would be very valuable this game.
Actually, no, wait, what are we talking about? Go Ags on Razor, X
and push
on Kunkka, and push 2 lanes. That's how you win.
Yeah.
Have your manager call me. I'll discuss stress with you guys.
From my chest.
Axe on Razor, definitely a little, I guess, I can't really call it underutilized, but I feel like people don't pick it up as much, because probably they usually end the game earlier on Razor, but definitely a good way to push. There is a DD on this Luna with Silver Edge, so it's about to delete a hero. Poggers, oh my god. Poggers, Poggers, get out of there. He can't.
That was not Poggers. But it all comes back to this. Do they want to try Siege? Oh, that's a DD Luna.
Hell yeah, they do. I think they need to maybe like X or something, or...
Alright, she doesn't want to push anymore.
Yeah, I would expect E-Rock to pick up a Satanic next, as they have split apart that Mask of Madness to complete the Butterfly. Looks like they're just gonna reset their waves again. Roche will respawn in about 1 minute and 30 seconds, so... I mean, if they don't feel pressed to push right now, then just wait the extra minute 30. Things are probably not gonna change much for Mochi. I mean, they've got a Chrysalis on this Dusa, but the Timber still, like, Kai Sanj, cool. Actually smoke up without their Night Stalker. But it looks like they're finally ready to make some plays on the map here, while Peenix Palace is just camping this Roche pit.
Yeah, Peenix Palace really respect the second Roche, huh?
I think it's their best way to win the game, and they're playing it so smart. Mochi doesn't look like they're gonna get anything out of this smoke though. They actually might lose a little bit of health on their tower because of this smoke, if anything. Now Han's immediately TVing back, realizing, nope, they're on the other side of the map.
I want Razor to jump ahead 3 minutes in time to when I said buy Ags and then actually do it. I honestly feel like that is the biggest brain way to play this game. Or get like Meteor Hammers or some shit, you know?
I don't know, I feel like if they just get like a hero or two killed, like if they kill the supports, I think this Jakiro is probably the most important hero they need to kill here to go high ground. If they just get rid of him, which if they bait a fight around the Roche pit, which they will most probably win despite having a Night Stalker on the enemy team, I think they clean up the supports, just go high ground. Or make like a cool smoke play, because Mochi is very much outside of their base on multiple
Oh my
heroes.
god, they really are, and it's kind of game losing just looking at it. They honestly just have to like play high ground. Like, why is... I'm not saying like that they're doing anything wrong, but why is Peenix not going high ground? It's
Well,
because
they want the Roche here.
It's because they want the Roche, and it's also because the high ground defense on Mochi is actually pretty darn good. With the Macro Pyre, with Timbersaw about to get Ags, and with his ult, with Medusa, with Tombstone, you can't really fight into Tombstone, and their siege isn't really that good. Because Luna loses all of her health by the time she steps on the high ground. And it's not that I'm saying this, we've seen this happen every time they've tried. So yeah.
Oh,
I think I was going to make a point with that, but I don't remember.
Classic. Luna, E-Rock now has a DD. This looks like finally high ground time. I think it was a little okay that Mochi was sneaking outside of their base. I think they knew that Roach was going to be coming up soon. I like the fact that Spanky got outside to get a little farm, potentially going to pick up the Daedalus here. They're going to pop the Dark Ascension, go onto Hungry Phoenix here. Also Luna, they're going to pop the BKB on the first life. X-Torrent, blink away.
Okay.
The counter has arrived here, but now E-Rock has to be a little careful. You might just lose the Aegis here. It's gone. Do they have any follow-up stuns? They have like 2 stuns on their heroes, but now Spanky gonna go in. They're looking for something right here with the Scotty slow as well. Hungry Phoenix gonna get stoned up here. The Razor now in quite a bit of trouble. E-Rock just gonna try and TP out in time. Do they have the Yules? E-Rock's gonna get caught here. Now the boat coming through as well. Eclipse gonna go down, but Spanky doing the damage from range. This Dusa's finally online and ready to do some damage. The Silence onto 2 heroes here, now turning off into the support Jotun. Hungry Phoenix actually still staying alive here for quite a bit of time. Gonna get Yules up into the air. Can he go down in time? Looks like he won't, as now Jotun, next one on the menu for this big Dusa. Oh man.
My god.
Mochi.
The Ags pickup from Timbersaw, dude. Incredible.
It's a huge amount of pure damage coming out, and E-Rock, I think, just... it was a large misplay. I don't want to flame him too much for that, but... I think they definitely did not siege that high ground in the optimal manner, especially since this Luna does have Shard. Like, Shard is available. You can slow siege with that DD. You have the Aegis. I think Mochi is very much on the back foot here, and giving them even an inch is going to lead to a lot more.
Dude, yeah, it's getting like dangerously late into the game, and when it cuts, basically the reason why I said this is Mochi's way back in is because there are so many more variables to account for, more items on all the supports, more items on everyone. Everyone is insanely strong. That it really can go either way. I think they have a much better chance if this game goes. I hate to say it, Licky. Trust me. Look me in the eyes when I tell you this. I hate to say it, but Mochi extending the game to like 60 minutes would benefit them.
Of course, I think it's definitely their game plan here. I mean, they just have to wait it out. This Night Stalker, despite this being a hero that your general like strongest power spike is like that 30 minutes, like 25-30 minutes, this hero still is incredibly strong late game, especially if you're only getting like your strong items now. I mean, this Witch Doctor's been having a pretty much free game up until this point. Now that Night Stalker has Blink BKB, like, we saw even in that fight, Poggers wasn't doing that much damage, but the AoE silence pushed 3 heroes away from this Dusa. Like, and it's all about protecting this Dusa. I actually went MKB before the Daedalus, so is gonna be getting quite a few procs, and this Butterfly on Iraq now basically a worthless item.
I would probably go for Rapier, TBH. I think they know what they want to play for, and you know, let's not pull any punches. Just go straight Rapier. Like, if you, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too too radical, but
maybe just I think they're okay. I mean, I think maybe if they lost that fight and lost to Rax, I think I would say it's definitely Rapier territory. But the fact that this Timber is relevant now with the Ags, and Spanky's shown that they have the damage, and even the Night Stalker is providing things to the fight. I mean, the Jakiro Ice Path itself did a lot. Ags on the Jakiro as well, so now Macropyre is going to be doing huge damage. Like, I think this Daedalus is okay, and like that Wand is still an available slot, potentially a Swift Blink on this Dusa here as well. Like, there's a lot of things that could come out. Ult up top, Sora might just have to pop his BKB here if he wants to survive. Instead, they're going to use the Halberd. Oh my god. Huge amount of damage onto the Night Star right here. Wayward as well. Amazing hookshot through. Going to catch onto 2 heroes. And now Timber's going to yield himself up into the air. Has to go through the Timber chain away. Not enough in time. And now Han going to go down. And now Spanky in the middle of 4 heroes right here. Sora's not going to go down. They're going to start draining. Oh, Spanky just literally has no mana and no health. He's gone. And now top, they're pinging it. They know. This is where they go for the jugular.
now they do have 2 buybacks, one on Timber and one Medusa, so it is still kind of hard, and low cooldowns on both Jakira and Undying. It is still hard taking high ground. Let's just see if Medusa wants to buy
2-0 for Peenix Pals right now as they're going high ground. Poggers, oh my god, the Lucent Beam has not respected it at all, and now E-Rock gonna start tearing up the buildings, has the Satanic as well. That is some good damage from the Timber, but oh, they need the Doom Survive back. There it is. It's coming through. This might just be a 3-0 here as Peenix Pals is chunking down this mid-ranks. But not just yet. They're not out of it unless Spanky goes down. The Maledict plus the Torrent. He gets the Mana Shield as well. Now the Ice Pad from Tornado as well. Oh, Han on the other side, able to dodge away from the break of the Silver Edge. And now Phoenix gonna get stunned up. Scotty slow as well. Taking him down. Han's gonna go down though. That is no buyback here. The Luna's able to take him out in time, and now the rest of the team, they're being juked away. Sora and Han and E-Rock, they're going for Throne. The coconut is stopping them. They're not even able to get to it, and now Phoenix Pals, they're just going for the objective, and they're gonna win it. 3-0 Phoenix Pals in decisive fashion. They take the grand finals and the victory, the cup, it's all theirs.
It's just like everything they've done has seemed so level-headed
Whoops.
in the entire series. It's just like the picks make sense, the way they play the map makes sense, and what we see with this final play is just like their heads are constantly in the game. And they realize like every time where to exploit Mochi's weaknesses. And it's so crazy to see, honestly. And now, not to say that, I think Mochi's drafts were actually really good. They just have to tighten up that execution. But this is a 3-0. I think Peenix Pals for sure earned the series. Just looking at how both teams play, it felt like night and day to me. If I were to choose a winner based on gameplay in the series, I would have chose Peenix Pals 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, that was... I mean, it was just impressive, and I think the most impressive thing about that is the fact that Peenix Pals was 2-0'd by Mochi in the winner bracket finals, but now they've come back into it, and decisive is just the word that comes to mind to describe the way that this team played here. And oh, there's some copy pasta happening in chat. Oh my god. I'm not surprised at all. We should get some people here for the post-game interview. Let's go. I'm gonna drag in some players from what is their name? Peenix Pals. We've got potentially 4 of their players here, so Let's see. Got Hungry Phoenix. We've got Werewood. And potentially Sora as well. Yes. Do we have a 5th player from the Peenix Pals?
Who the
or-
fuck is
think
3D
Iraq's
Ninja?
coming.
It's me, Mortal.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
hello.
So that's Mortal, who is Jotun as well in game, playing the Witch Doctor in that game 3. And I mean, first things first, congratulations, you guys, because that was an incredible series. I mean, I heard a lot of Mochi in 3, Mochi in 4, but I think I just saw Peenix Pals in 3, and that was a very impressive series from you all. So first and foremost, congratulations. And I think I'm gonna open it up with a question, and I guess anyone. Actually, I'm gonna let Pip ask his question first, which is Pip.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
Who's-
thought you were gonna just
No.
say it for
Do
me.
you want me to
Okay.
ask? It's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so watching, obviously we had a bird's eye view of the series, and we get a lot more information than what you guys had. But what I observed is that you guys played the map. The way you guys played the map versus how the other team played the map was so night and day and I wanted to know who. I guess this is going to be 2 questions. So the first question is, who calls the shots generally in your game, and the second question is, what was the process like? Well, basically every game, do you tell everyone where to go around the map to push out lanes, yada yada yada, or did you guys just practice all the movements around the maps to get it looking so clean throughout the series?
If it looks clean, I think that's a happy accident because
Yeah, we didn't practice shit.
It's a constant it's a constant conversation about where we should be playing it. It's the main thing we're thinking about most of the time. How it's
Yeah, some
I think-
people will voice what's available to them, and our mid laner told us a couple of times, "Hey, stop it! I'm going for my BKB, and we can't do anything for the next 40 seconds."
Yeah,
Well, that was
we-
the second game, but
Whenever Iraq has Aegis or we're going high ground, he's the only one that calls shots.
Mhm.
That's one thing we kind of did in the last
And yeah,
series.
the later the game goes, the more I talk. And it's usually a BKB or Aegis timing is usually when I'm like, hey, we can fight. I feel strong. One of those calls was bad when I died mid. That was the only major mistake I think I made the whole series. I was a little worried about after that.
No, I thought it was very clean. The entire series was clean. So you guys were talking about that basically when it gets to the point of the game where the carry is pretty much the strongest person on your team, you hand off all the shot calls to him. So you say you have a constant conversation. So is everyone just kind of screaming at each other in the first part of the game?
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
going
much.
here,
There's a
go
lot of
there.
talking. We have to
Yeah,
clear comms all
cool.
the time.
No, it for sure shows because everything felt so smooth. If you guys ever watch the series back, just watch how the other team plays the game and then compare it how you guys play the game. I was not for a second worried that in any of these games that you guys would lose because the way you guys, it's not even in all the fights, who cares fights? The way you guys played the map was just so much better. It was more efficient. You guys were farming better. And every time any push was made by the enemy team on any of your towers, you were pushing 2 of theirs. So it just felt so comfortable and easy, at least from a bird's eye view. But yeah, I was just very impressed. That was pretty much my only question.
I think I can add something to that. I mean, going into the series, we know we were very good at our mid game fights, team fights, movements, and everything. So we're just focused on our early game lane winning, and I think that's what we
Yeah.
corrected from last time. So
Yeah, because they spanked us last time. They SFF spankied us because they killed me 7 times total lane and across both games, something stupid like that. So we decided as long as that didn't happen, we'd have a much better time because they just straight up they just 5 deathballed us in the previous series, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't try it again. It might have
Yeah.
worked.
I think they kind of did with that last draft. It was kind of a death ball draft, but like I said, I just think every time they were pushing 1 tower, you guys were pushing 2, and it became this constant fight of you guys delaying the game by creating so much pressure on the map. So I mean, I guess that was my take on the game, but I never felt like you guys were in trouble. So if they guys, if the other team schmacked you in the last series, I definitely didn't feel that in this series. You guys definitely learned from your mistakes.
I have a question for Hungry Phoenix.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Immortals in Intermediate League? Some
not my
choice
fault.
words about them.
It's not my fault. Not my fault. What can I say?
I mean, I
Everyone's like
was
the-
Divine 1.
Yeah,
It's not
you
like
find a lot.
it's not like he had never been above Divine 1 or Divine 2 when we signed up or whatever. I just think he just spams this fucking OD hero and it's disgusting.
Yeah, come on, guys. He's a hero spammer, and Immortal 3500 is practically Divine 2. So I don't get what the problem is here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's definitely a huge narrative of improvement with your team throughout the season. So kudos to you. Trying to come up with some more questions.
I got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, well, first I just want to say congrats. I think you guys played extremely well the past couple days, including against us, which makes me sad. But you guys have stepped up majorly after that upper bracket loss to Mochi. I guess I would say, how did your mentality about Dota and the way you were strategizing change? Because after that loss, you kind of just butchered everybody. So did
Don't
you
get
change
cheesed.
things up?
Don't get cheesed.
Yeah,
Just
we
like
focused
this.
our draft a lot more on the
Yeah.
lanes. Not
Yeah.
because I think even though we got smoked in the upper bracket, we did have a stand-in, which kind of threw us off a bit, I think, drafts wise. But I think we actually played the map better than they did, but they were just so far ahead that it didn't matter. So we basically just were like, as long as we don't lose the lanes that hard, then we should beat them. And that's why we picked Weaver a lot, because that hero is very good in lane.
What's the
Also,
future for Peenix pals? Your mid as ranked out of the league. Are you going to be moving up with him, or are you going to be?
Announcement incoming.
He's up to you.
I have an announcement video that will be dropping tomorrow.
Let's go.
Like, PP
He's
2.0.
he's actually going to sandbag all the way down to Divine 1 again.
I
Oh, of
wouldn't
course.
know
yeah.
anything about sandbagging,
This
so
is
don't talk to me
custom.
about it.
Yeah, as one does.
Whose idea was it to first phase Kunkka? Had you done that in previous series?
We did it
I
last.
think. Yeah,
on
we did
Thursday.
it yesterday or Thursday. Yeah.
It's such a good hero, and it felt like Sora like fucking hyperbolic time chambered so fast this season that it didn't really matter if they tried to pick me, he would still win lane.
And yeah,
Yeah,
like the
there-
hero can't lose lane at all.
And Hans Kunkka also smacked us both games in the upper bracket.
Mhm.
So it's like a deny pick that's also very comfortable for us. And I guess Sora is just like comfortable enough that he doesn't need like the 24 or the 18 pick, which is a really big advantage.
For sure.
Yeah, and I do want to give props to Sora because there were a lot of Yules in that game, but literally you never got juked out by Yules, I think, ever that I was seeing, and I was like, this guy knows his Kunkka, he's got it down to a science, and he's playing.
The Ricky like a fiddle in game one. Holy
Ricky was
shit.
getting owned. He's like tricks of the trade. I can dodge torrent. Nope, he's back here
Thank you, sir.
every
Thank
single
you, sir. Yeah.
time. But I do want to ask a question, I guess, to you all here. I'm wondering what your comms are like in between those games because and also I guess this is a twofold question. So like coming into this series, what did you expect to happen? And then in between the games of this series, how are you keeping your team together? Maybe motivating each other? What were things like there?
I think we were confident. I feel like game one was good just to get the monkey off the bat because we'd gotten like 2-0'd. So I think that game felt really good. And then I think after game two, we were, I don't know, we kind of were just chilling. Everyone just like left for a little bit, reset. We just talk about what we're gonna ban if we have first pick versus if we have second pick because it kind of changes what went well, and then yeah, just sort of just not necessarily dive too much into any mistakes or anything that happened. Just kind of keep it light. But it definitely felt way better to get the first one off the back.
I was just talking in between the games. Like I kept expecting them to bring out the kind of strategies they did to us last week. And when they got second pick on the third game, we were all kind of like, oh, because we expected them to want to get Weaver, Kunkka, or one of the other heroes, but they didn't get either of those, which was kind of surprising.
And no disrespect to Mochi, but I predicted an easy 3-0.
Yeah.
I agree with that assessment. I thought that felt so easy, honestly.
We just studied them. That's it. Yeah.
I think honestly, like I think they on a better day, like they could the series would be it would be very competitive. I think they were like really good last. I
Yeah,
think if
I wonder where
if we had
that
like a series, if we had like some sort of setup where you play another series, something like that, I think they still definitely could have beat. So I think we just had the better like day strategy wise. It happens.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
we were wondering where that like tanky draft from last week went. That they seemed really prepared for that particular draft, and maybe they would have other pocket drafts, but it kind of didn't shake out that way.
Yeah, when I saw the game 1 draft, I just thought, wow, everyone just dies to one Tidebringer. There was nothing.
And the
Yeah.
spit. Can't forget the spit.
The fit, yes, yes.
I have another question. And since I'm a PMA person, I'm gonna spread the PMA. So Hungry Phoenix, as the captain, I want to ask you. So looking at your team members here, what's I guess one thing for each of them, and then also yourself, that you think that they really brought to the table this AD2L season and really bring to benefiting this team?
Okay, all right.
On the spot, give me what you got.
Okay, we'll go position wise. So I think Irok, the biggest thing was in the late game, he's a very calming voice. And our comms are a bit chaotic at times, but it seems like the later it goes, we all sort of just trust him when he has the most farm. And he wasn't wrong very often. So it was nice to sort of have that ability to go to the late game and not super panic. For Sora, I think he's probably easily our best player. Maybe that's so. It's it's very easy to draft when you can just like pick your mid laner, a hero. Sometimes his ideas are a little bit suspicious, but I don't really have to like worry about griefing our draft to give him a good matchup. So, and then for Weirwood, I think as the season went on, his laning stage improved dramatically to the point where in the last like 2 or 3 series, I was able to basically 1v1 the carry, which is how I like to play the offlane. So I think once we got him on the right, figured out what hero and playstyle worked, he had a lot of impact. And then for Ninja, oh god, this is tough. Ninja, he does a lot of scouting before game. You know, he really likes this Dota buff wards map thing he can pull up. Just like every
It's
game,
such a
20
cheat.
minutes, every week, 20 minutes before the series, he's just like looking at Dota buff to see where the enemy wards. So
He tells
he's
me,
definitely
Weirwood, look at this, and it's like, dude, I looked at it already. But he's like, no, look at this.
Ninja would be a great coach.
Yeah,
For that
yeah,
reason.
he'd be a very good
he's like,
coach.
did you do your homework? I was like, fuck.
Not a
Yeah.
good drafter though.
Not a good drafter.
My drafts
Yo,
are a
we
little
should pick Nicks,
controversial, but it's fine.
pick Nicks.
All right. Well, that's kind of the question I wanted to, throw out there, get a little bit of the dynamic of how the Peenix Pals work together, and ended up here in this grand finals. My co-casters, panelists, anything else that you have to add here?
I just want to say one thing. Sorry,
Yeah, sure.
I think Phoenix has been like really good, great captain. Always being the calming force in our team comms for sure, and always motivating us. So yeah, it was a great run.
Yeah, that is true.
Nice.
Phoenix did not compliment himself, so I'm glad you stepped up for that. But it was very enjoyable to see you guys play. Especially after playing you all. Just getting this bird's eye view, seeing how you all moved around the map. I mean, Pip was just going on about it. He wouldn't shut up about how great you guys are moving around the map.
Literally, it was so good, guys. Like I can't even I couldn't believe this was divine level gameplay. I was like,
Oh,
wow, Immortal
ancient
players
fine.
don't even do
gameplay,
this stuff.
technically.
We're all ancient. We're ancient
Technically
scrubs.
ancient level gameplay. But...
Oh,
Yeah.
ancient level gameplay. Well, okay. I'll say this. I cast a lot of games for my boys. Okay, and this is probably one of the higher quality games that I've ever
Thank you.
casted.
Oh,
So
appreciate
so
it.
Nice.
yeah, no, it was very clean. Yeah,
To be
you
fair-
said what the dude? Yeah, imagine what I see on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
the
To be
series
fair,
is
I
pretty
think
good.
a big part of it was that series. They didn't have a lot of heroes that are good for breaking up, like a split pushing hero. Like they had very little catch, and we were just really ready to punish that because that's how we want. That's how we beat them the first week in like the round robin, and then it seemed like they had solved that last, but we figured out how to get around that.
Yeah, I just thought it was very clean. It was the cleanest ancient or / divine level game that I've casted in recent memory.
Wow,
So-
clip it,
Appreciate
Clip
that.
clip it, and pin
Oh
it.
god, Peenix pals, they're heading into next season with a lot of praise. But I mean, you guys deserve it for winning in such a good fashion. Rusty, Chaos, anything else to add here before we let them go celebrate that they've
I don't
earned?
think so.
No.
Congrats, you guys drafted well, came in with a plan, executed it. You've earned the right to continue talking your nonsense in the Discord, so congrats.
Oh, I'm expecting a spicy meme or two when I look over at the AD2L Discord. That's the homework that I'm giving you guys.
I
Give
was
me one.
expecting PSGS just goes on to win the rest of their fucking games or something like that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the kind words, guys. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
thanks
guys.
for having us.
casting.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you for
great.
You
casting.
guys deserve it. You stepped up big time, so shout out to you.
Right.
Good job.
Shout out to the boys. This is our last, our last series together. So
Yes, yes.
it's a good way to end,
Oh.
Pepins.
Oh.
That's out the back.
All right,
All
thanks, guys.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
you
you.
guys
Thank
have
you.
a fantastic night, and thank you for coming by for the interview. And now get out of this channel. Get out of here.
Have a good weekend, guys.
GGs.
Go
GGs.
have
Bye-bye.
fun.
Shout out to Rhino, unironically. Great content. This league is so much more fun. I hope he plays again. He's unironically really funny, and like I think he just needs to play a different role. I think I'm not
He's an
seeing
offlane
like.
player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
His
originally.
team. Shout out to Ten Toes. All right, I actually think like they were really hard to play too. I just want to shout them out too. They had some sick map. Like they did not let us farm. We were lucky to beat them. Like I
Nah,
think the
they're
game
easy.
pretty close. Not gonna lie.
They're
All the
fucking
flame
easy.
coming in. This is what I expect from intermediate players.
I
But
was not. I was doing the opposite of
no, no,
flaming. I
I'm
was
just
saying
messing.
Tento's.
Because
Okay.
Rusty's in here trash
I
talking
highly
them.
doubt you're
But
watching this, Rhino, but if you are, don't ever fucking pick Quap in front of me again, bro.
Tento's ain't.
Never do it.
here it is from
What's the
Phoenix.
line?
Give it
If
to
you
me.
if you ain't upper bracket after today, I really can't fuck with you.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hungry Phoenix will never let me down. Never ever.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
All right. See ya.
All right,
Thanks,
I'll
guys.
see y'all later. Thanks again. Congratulations. And that was the intermediate grand finals.
Woo!
That was it. The best of 5 that only went 3 games. Peenix Pals turning up in extreme fashion to take this game away from Mochi, the favorites here. So an upset. Is RD12 better than AD2L? I don't want to admit it, but I
No.
I can't admit it because they still came to AD2L to play. And this is the league that we all
So true, bro.
love to see. They had to come here to play this Dota, and they had to play these teams to get this good. But that
So
was the
fucking
intermediate
true.
grand finals. I think the Divine one is still happening. Potentially.
Yes, everyone hop over to twitch.tv/zen_comms and
Exactly.
support Divine League.
Go head over to ZenCom's channel, check out the rest of the Divine League Grand Finals, which I believe is on Game 4 right now, so don't miss that. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed the games, the people we've had here. Again, thanks to Insane Chaos and Rusty Shackelford for being my panel here. Thanks to Pip-Boy for hanging out with me for these games and partially casting the entirety of Game 1. Shout out to the Fire Alarm for making an appearance as well. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a fantastic night. I don't know how to raid, I'm sorry, but I'll try. Let me try this. But anyway, hope you all have a great night, and see you all later.